into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh, good morning, and I hope this is a good morning from you in your bed enjoying this public holiday.
Yes, it's a day off. We're celebrating the public holiday, but we are still here to serve you on this, the 21st of March, being Human Rights Day in South Africa. And of course, it's a significant day, not only because the show is happening, but also the struggle to commemorate what South Africa has gone through to get to the point where they became a dependent and democratic country that we get to live in and obviously do so much magic, right?
And today is all about celebrating that. So first up, we're going to find out more about how to speak to a stranger for 45 minutes on Human Rights Day. What a really cool initiative, and that's also to make a difference in the lives of others.
Yeah, it might sound easier said than done, but we're going to find out exactly about that. And then the Artscape are bringing us a performance along with the Unmute Dance Company. Oh, it's going to be a show that you are going to love, especially on a public holiday, because there's so much entertainment coming. And speaking of entertainment, we also got someone that has an entertaining jawline, an entertaining voice, and an entertaining look. Let's check how much entertainment comes from this man over here. Morning.
I've just got to apologise, man. I know they are both so ridiculously good-looking that for that to be the first thing that you see and your eyes might be blinded. But it's you're just going to have to deal with it, man. I get to work with them every single day and I love it. A very good morning to them, to you, to the whole of South Africa. Happy Human Rights Day. It is an absolute pleasure to be joining you this morning on a vitally important day for us. I think we always think about how our journey impacts how we think about our past, but it's most important how it impacts our future. So we're going to be connecting with you guys this morning and asking you the vital questions. And this is what I'm putting to you right now. So first of all, another happy Human Rights Day. I hope you're going to take the time to really take cognizance of what this is all about. But I'm asking you, what do you think should be a basic human right? Are we getting it right? Have we missed a trick somewhere? Looking at this modern world, maybe COVID has changed the game just a little bit. Let us know what you think our basic human rights should be. If there are a few that need to be added to that list, let us know. We'll have a little bit of fun with that this morning as well. So keep that conversation going for the next 3 hours. But let's get a conversation starter right now and catch up with what's been happening around the world. I'll delve into the sport in a moment. Grant standing by with the news.
Thanks so much, G. Yes, so many headlines to take over and to serve you this morning, and we're going to start off with the national news. And President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Xi Jinping of China have telephonically discussed the ongoing conflict in the Ukraine. Now, in a social media post, the presidency said Ramaphosa and Xi had discussed the need to find a lasting peace, as well as the need for humanitarian assistance to the people of Ukraine and the plight of African students that are there. Now, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs said both countries support Russia and Ukraine in keeping the momentum of peace talks going and settling disputes through dialogue as well as negotiations. Well, sticking to our national news front, and Statistics South Africa says it will have to find ways to collect some 40% of outstanding population data within the next fortnight. Now, its field workers have so far reportedly approached just over half the country's estimated 18 million households, and the deadline of 28th of Feb was extended to yesterday, but will have to be extended again. Now, numerous complaints about payment have been received from field workers, and Statistics SA's head of communications, Trevor Oosterwyk, says they are aware of the complaints and are addressing them as we speak. Now, from national news, we head over to international headlines. Now, sub-Saharan Africa is the world's least connected region, with around a quarter of the population still lacking mobile broadband coverage. Now, a subsea cable owned by Google that promises to double internet speeds for millions in Africa has arrived in Togo. Now, the Equina cable, the first of its kind to reach Africa, is from Portugal and will double internet speeds for Togo's some 8 million residents. Now, most countries in West Africa are at the bottom of a World Bank global ranking on internet penetration. Next up, news from the COVID virus, which has gradually become less lethal over the last 2 years since the pandemic began in early 2020. In fact, it's been reported that seasonal influenza is currently more deadly in England. Now, a recent article states that for over 100,000 Omicron infections, 35 will result in death, while the equivalent number of flu infections will lead to 40 fatalities. Now, the article points to the high degree of immune protection from either vaccinations or previous infections as being the main reason for the recent parity with the flu. Well, now, next up, news that might come in the form of a miracle for some. Now, the UK's most premature twins, as they've been dubbed, have finally headed home from hospital 5 months after their birth when they were given a 0% chance of survival. Now, little Harley and Harry Crane were conceived via the in vitro fertilization, otherwise known as IVF, and were born at, wait for it, 22 weeks and 5 days. Now, babies born after only 5 months of development are not classed as legally viable, but the tough siblings clung to life and have amazed doctors. Now, their 39-year-old mother, Jade, has spent the last 5 months at their side in the newborn intensive care unit of Queen's Medical Hospital in Nottingham, England. And after attempting to fall pregnant naturally for 3 years, Jade suffered an ectopic pregnancy before the couple decided to start IVF in 2010. Now, the miracle twins headed home to Derby last week, a mere 2.5 weeks after their original due date. And when Jane was checked into hospital on October the 26th at 22 weeks pregnant, she was told the twins wouldn't make it. But thankfully, the newborns defied all odds and will undoubtedly go down in medical history. Well, on that miraculously light note, I leave you the rest of the headlines. Here's G to take a look at all the action when it comes to the sport, and oh, so much action indeed. Check this one out.
Thank you so much, Raul. Where do we begin? An incredible weekend of sports. So let's start with a South African perspective. And of course, a little bit of hope there. Some silver lining. The Proteas bouncing back from Friday's shock loss to Bangladesh by winning the pink ODI to ensure that the series is now level at 1 apiece with 1 match left to play. Now, South Africa started the series off with 38-run loss to the Tigers before the weekend, and 77 from Shakib Al-Hassan, helping his side post 314 for 7, while Mahidi Miraz took 4 for 61 to weigh in with the ball. The Proteas hit back with a dominant display yesterday, winning by 7 wickets. The away side were restricted to just 194 for 9 in their 50 overs, with player of the match Kagiso Rabada firing on all pistons, taking 5 for 39. Then Quinton de Kock stepped up, blasting 62 from just 41 at the top of the order to power South Africa to a series levelling win. The third and final game kicks off this coming Wednesday. And plenty of action on the footballing fields as well. The last 4 in the FA Cup have now been settled yesterday, with Liverpool set to play their Premier League title rivals Man City in a blockbuster clash. The other semi-final will see a high-flying Crystal Palace take on Chelsea. Tough prospect there. The Blues were the first team, in fact, to book their spot in the semis with that 2-0 win over Middlesbrough. Lukaku and Ziyech with the goals for City on the day. Then yesterday, Man City put 4 past Southampton as they eased to pass the Saints 4-1 ultimately. Sterling, De Bruyne, Foden and Mahrez all netting for the away side. In Crystal Palace, they beat a hapless Everton 4-1, while Liverpool, they rounded off the weekend's action with a 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest. So the ties are to be played at Wembley Stadium on the 16th and the 17th of April. Now we return to 2 wheels, and Miguel Oliveira, he definitely held his nerve to win a rain-affected Indonesian Grand Prix yesterday, with the Portuguese KTM rider finishing 2.2 seconds ahead of current world champion Fabio Quartararo, who had started from pole position. And another Frenchman, Johan Zarco, was a further 3 seconds adrift to take third after the race was reduced to just 20 laps from the originally scheduled 27 because of safety concerns. Brad Binder's last corner heroics saw him jump a couple of spots to finish ahead of his brother in 8th place, while Darren claimed his first top 10 finish in MotoGP. And 6-time world champion Marc Marquez was earlier ruled out with a concussion after what looked like a horror crash in the warm-up session. Then we move to 4 wheels now for the season opener there as well in Formula 1. And Charles Leclerc of Ferrari won a dramatic Formula 1 season opening Bahrain Grand Prix yesterday after reigning champion Max Verstappen was forced out with an electrical issue just 2 laps before the end. And Carlos Sainz made it a Ferrari 1-2, while Lewis Hamilton was in the mix, snatching third place for Mercedes. That was after Sergio Perez added to Red Bull's disastrous day by spinning out on that last lap. And George Russell, in his first race since replacing Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes, took fourth place, while Haas, which got no points last season, saw Kevin Magnussen finishing fifth in his first race since 2020. So plenty of drama. We'll touch on El Clasico in just a moment and delve into more of our weekend sport over the first hour of the show. So stick around. Right now, though, let's see what our Human Rights Day has in store on the weather front.
Happy Human Rights Day. Good morning, South Africa. Yes, human rights indeed. The right to water, clean water and sanitation. We kick off our weather news with some encouraging environmental news. The construction of that much-awaited Tulbagh bulk water supply project is progressing well, with phase 1 of the project, which entails the construction of a dam, 40% complete. Good news. The Department of Water and Sanitation, as Western Cape Provincial Head Ntombizanele Bila Mupariwa said that after observing the construction site, the department was happy with the progress being made. She said the project was on schedule, on budget and approved specification. And moreover, she commended the teams involved in the construction. The Tulbagh project is intended to augment water supply from Witzenberg local municipality. Upon completion in June 2023, the dam will yield 1.2 megalitres, and the project is creating much needed jobs during the construction phase, bringing with it desired socio-economic benefits. On completion, it will enable the development of low-cost housing, development to improve water security in the region. That's some really, really good news coming from that region. And now we move over from that world to sunrise views that we've received, we showcase daily, that come through from you, our Expresso viewers, on our Facebook page. Colin Nair from the Bluff in Durban kicks off this week's submissions on Human Rights Day with this gorgeous, warm-hued shot as the day begins. And then we got one from Lindsay Mark Skippers from Paarl, who captured this peaceful shot. Look at that, it's so peaceful, so tranquil, of the blue morning sky with a lone cloud floating in the foreground. Thank you for that. Those are beautiful. And you can send yours through to us as well. Our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. And remember to use that hashtag Expresso Show. And now we take a look at the temperatures to set you up for the day across the country. We start off with Polokwane, sun and clouds for you today. 12 is your low, reaching a high of 25. If you're out in Mbombela, times of sun and clouds can be expected. 16 is your minimum, reaching a maximum of 28, with the capital city, Pretoria, 15 your low, reaching a high of 25. If you're out in Johannesburg, 13 your minimum, reaching a maximum of 22, with Mahikeng coming in with some sun and clouds today, 15, reaching a maximum of 26. Thunder showers are expected out in Klerksdorp, 14 is your low, reaching a high of 24. So, some thunder showers for Kimberley as well today, 15 your minimum, reaching a maximum of 25, with Bloemfontein coming in with a low of 12, reaching a high of 22. If you're out in Richards Bay, you can expect some sun and clouds. 17 is your low, reaching a high of 28, with rainy times anticipated for Pietermaritzburg, your low 14, your high 24. Durban, you start off at 20, you reach a high of 27. If you're out in Mthatha today, sun and clouds 13 and 26. East London, sunny day, 18, reaching a high of 26. Craddock, 13 and 29. Becha, 17, your minimum, reaching a maximum of 26. If you find yourself in George today, 17, you will peak at 25. The mother city, Cape Town, 19, your low, reaching a high of 25. Worcester, 16 and 34, with Sutherland at 13, peaking at 26. If you're out in Uppington, your low today is 19. You will reach highs of 30. Sun and clouds out there for you. It's a Monday. It is Human Rights Day, and you have the right to be happy. Put a smile on your face. It's a Monday. Good morning.
Oh, thank you, Uncle Tubbsy.
I love that.
Well, you know what? The one thing, I don't know if he knows this and if you know this, but are you ready for a workout with Emma Scholtz?
I'm ready for a workout every day, but one thing I'm not ready for, the fact that I hear it's going to be in heels. Is that
It's going to be in heels, so I think we need to maybe get some breakfast in our tummies,
let me do
that.
exactly that. Maybe you can grab one as well. It is the public holiday. We do have the day off, essentially. So it's time for us to tuck into this and also tuck into some of the action that happened this weekend when it comes to sports. So the gents and some of the ladies that do watch sport as well have lost their minds. Our Clasico went down, FA Cup, and she's going to be out here talking all about that in a bit while we tuck into this and get ready for our heels fitness.
Remember good.
Only you can make my day.
always know how much I love you. I hope that you never stop learning and growing, that you'll be brave and joyful and kind, and that one day when you look at me and I look at you, we'll love the wonderful you that you've become. It all begins with purity.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Yes, as promised, time to talk a little sports. Barcelona were dominant in their 4-0 win over their great rivals, of course, Real Madrid, to move up to third on the table. A really important fixture for both teams. Brace from Aubameyang and goals from Araujo and Torres, sealing an emphatic win away from home. With us to review the action is Mitch Matanya and Callum Ross from Football and Friends. Are you guys still friends this morning?
Look, pain, you know. I should have pulled the Carl Wasty at this point.
Yeah,
not here.
I know. I thought he was supposed to be here today. These are the days. I'm going to call it El Massacre. What happened, Mitch, man? What happened, babe?
It's, you know, it's one of those games where you look at, I want to say it's a blip, you know, in the season, but the way I was explaining Xavi ball, and it definitely showed up at the Bernabeu last night. The way Barcelona played was incredible. I mean, you look at those youngsters and Frankie Dion, Pedri, they definitely showed up against the older Real Madrid, you know, midfielders. So I have to give them credit.
Age. He's just saying age. Being a young'un trumps it all. But something clearly did click for Barcelona. We spoke about the relevance, the importance of that winning momentum for where Barca are in their season. It all came together beautifully for that team last night.
I think the most important pivotal factors there was the ball retention of Barcelona. Real Madrid couldn't get a ball. They couldn't get a kick in, really. All those 50-50 balls were won by Barcelona back in midfield. So they thought, okay, we're going to play against this Barcelona team. They're going to try and keep possession, which they did. But Real Madrid think, okay, we can win a sneaky ball back and we can try and counter them. But they weren't even winning that. So they had a plan A, they had no plan B, and that's where they came unstuck.
Benzema, is he the plan A?
Well, he's the only plan. At this moment, he's the only plan. I was saying it's Ballon d'Or Benz this season. But at this point, I don't even know.
So how does that team restructure itself without him there? Are things so woeful that they don't actually have a plan B?
Well, I think there is a plan B. There is some. I mean, you look at the likes of Vinicius. You know, you have again Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. These are big names.
These are names, man.
These are names when it comes to world football. So they should be doing the job. You know, against Barcelona, who haven't won an El Clasico in 3 years. So you expect them to do something at home. So at this point, it's kind of like either Benz is not there or we living on a prayer.
Yeah, man, the prayers weren't answered, but certainly from Barca's perspective, they were. What does this mean for the season moving ahead? We know, obviously, the emotional component of having that big win, that bragging rights is massive, but it does mean more in the context of where they are this season.
I think they go from strength to strength from now. You know, they are still in the Europa League. I think they will go and try and reach the semis and the final in the Europa League, and I think they will try and finish second in this league. As I said on Friday, I alluded that, you know, Real Madrid are 10 points clear, or 9 points clear now, over Sevilla, and I think that Barcelona will eventually take over Sevilla and get that second spot. But this is a lovely transition for this Barcelona team to see, look, we've taken a big scalp this season, and Real Madrid will know that they haven't just lost to Barcelona, they've been thumped by Barcelona on their own home turf.
I think what people don't realize is, like, I've been to a couple of these, a couple of these derby games, and in the UK, though, and they will play this match on big screens in bars before every El Clasico for the next 10 years. This will be used. So I understand the relevance of a big win like this for the team. For Real, how do we move past this? Is it just a blip on the radar? We suck it up and move on? Should this be shaking the foundations? Does the coach need to go? How do you take it? Because in South Africa, that coach's job would be under pressure.
Look, I've seen Real Madrid managers go for less.
Yeah.
And I think it helps that the international break is here. So for those injured players, they get a nice period of about a week and a bit to kind of relax and recover. And then it's Chelsea after that in that UEFA Champions League quarterfinal. So things get interesting when you get to the business end of that competition.
I was going to ask, what about European aspirations? What are you making of the quarterfinal draw for Champions League?
Look, Real Madrid have never beaten Chelsea in Europe. This is a fact. So the fact that they've drawn them in the quarterfinals is also scary as well after a 4-0 loss to Barcelona. So things are not looking good. But if they get over this, then it's going to be a huge, huge tick next to Carlos' box.
Beware the wounded beast, my friend. Beware the wounded beast. But of course, the most important factor from this weekend, that Son and Kane surpassed Lampard and Drogba as the most effective combination in world football ever in the history of. So maybe that's a strike against Chelsea, man, in some weird way. But a really entertaining game. So for all the Barca fans out there, hope you're going to enjoy it. Enjoy reveling in it. Phone your closest Madrid mates and just let them know how you're feeling this morning. In fact, you might be so inspired that you want to just get out of bed, put a tutu on, put some heels on, and move. Take it away.
Yes, Mzansi, this is actually happening. It's my first time in heels, and I must say, all the ladies out there, respect to you.
Don't lie!
I didn't know. Tom just convinced I wear them all the time. But listen, guys, we talk about heels, we talk about fitness, and it might look like a workout. You do know that there are so many exercises that actually incorporate the shoe, believe it or not. Now, you get classes that are typically involving elements of Pilates, you got bar fitness, and even Zumba. And these create so many different challenges for exercises which help participants find their center and also work your core at the same time. I'm definitely doing that, just trying to balance and walk. So we've got a specialist here to kind of help us, of course, and take us through some of these exercises. It's personal trainer and founder of FitBay, Emma Scholz, in the building. Emma, how you doing?
Good. So lovely to be back.
How you doing?
I have to agree with you here because he looks super comfortable. I know he says that he's not comfortable, but he's got legs for days and he's got feet for days, and I'm like quite impressed with the both of you.
And the one thing I know for sure is that we know that legs like what Raul's got, you don't just get them from God. I'm sorry. It's God plus heels.
That's it. That's it. 100%.
So, Emma, you also got your FitBays with you?
I sure do. I've got beautiful Klein with me in her yellow tutu.
Okay.
And I've got Braun with me in her white
Bronzy.
tutu. And then there's me with my wings.
Hey, look at you. Oh,
So you
Victoria's
evolved from the
Secret.
tutu and you developed wings.
I'm telling you, I'm just the fairy god FitBay over here.
All right, so I'm hoping Zabiso and I can maybe earn a pair of wings as well today.
I'm hoping we all leave here with wings. Okay.
It takes a lot. Earn your hours, please.
Totally. Okay,
All right,
guys.
so what is happening? I mean, we're wearing heels, but are we going to work out?
So today's going to be a little bit different. Today we are starting you off with a burlesque warm-up, and it's amazing because it is a sensual workout for women. We are obviously... All men. Yeah, of course. For anyone, really. And we are going to start just by warming up our body, loosening up our hips, and getting into the swing of things. So, guys, I just want you to follow me.
Okay. He
already looks, he's like scared. So your feet are going to be a little bit apart, guys, and I want us to just loosen up our hips, and we're rolling our hips to the right. Now, guys, please don't feel embarrassed about this. I need you to get it. Oh, yes, I need you to get into it.
Getting in my feels.
And other side, oh, yes. The bigger, the better.
Oh, wow.
We really want to loosen up the spine. We want to get into the movements. We're rolling our shoulders back. I love this one. It's just opening up our lungs and our chests. Beautiful, all the way forward. Oh, yes. I love it. We're stepping and tapping, stepping and tapping. Make sure that you're using your hips for this one, guys. Shifting from side to side.
And how do you breathe? Like breathing, like deep breath?
Well, right now I'm talking, so I mean, who the knows?
Okay.
For you guys, just what feels comfortable is great.
Yeah.
Now you're opening and your hips are going side to side. Nice and quick. Oh, yes. 3, 2,
Ron, when you've
1.
done this lots of times before, I can see, yeah?
I love it. Okay,
Why
now...
does my face change when I have these?
Like little
Is that a
parts.
normal thing? Like,
Totally normal.
suddenly, like, do the exercise, and I'm like,
It's this
Totally normal. Okay, so now we're going to do a mini routine.
Okay.
This is going to test you, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to be more difficult for the people that have longer legs in the room. We definitely are not battling with that. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 beautiful walks,
Yep.
and then we're going to do a little twist. So we're starting on the left. We're going to go left, right, left, and then we twist. That's it. Now you turn on yourself, your arm goes up, and then you drop all the way down and shoulder roll back. Okay, can we try it again? Oh,
Yeah, ooh,
oh,
I love that.
oh.
I felt like a pop, like a...
Yeah, that was your shoulder dislocating. I'm kidding, you're fine, you're fine.
it's just dangerous, man. I'm telling you.
Left leg stepping
Okay.
out, 3 walks and a hip. Are we ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, walking 1, 2, 3 with a hip.
No.
Turn, arm goes up.
Come on.
We drop, we pout, we come up, we shoulder roll. Beautiful. How do we
I
feel?
feel like I made it. I think heels are for me, actually, guys.
Well, this is my
I'll be
new,
honest.
my new
Do you
thing
have
to
it?
do.
Do you feel like you have it? Are
think
you
I
like
have it.
Victoria's Secret ready?
Yeah, no, for real. This is really going to be my new thing to do at any braai. If anybody invites
Yes.
me, I'm
Yes.
literally going to arrive.
Yes!
All
I
the
love
time.
it!
You know, Tabiso, if you walked into the bra like that, we wouldn't even need to light the fire. I mean, you'd
No.
all the heat
Okay, I think we need to try it again. I think we need a little bit more music.
right there. Yes, let's
Can my
get it up.
music people crank it up?
Ah,
3, 2, 3, 2, 1,
Hey.
go! Walk. 2, 3, twist, turn, arm, drop, shoulder. I love it.
That's how we do in a public holiday.
An 8 out of 10? Was
I
it
don't
a
know.
9 out of 10?
I'm feeling good. I feel like a 10 out of 10 here
Really?
for first day meals.
I usually would be doing like a fist bump with someone, but I want to do like a hip bump with you, like a, yeah, baby, ooh.
That
was
2
fun.
more segments, 2 more opportunities to fine, wine, dine, and maybe exercise in these heels as well. Myself and Tabiso are going to go through the paces, and we'll see you there.
Oh, you can make my day.
Simple as CBD should be.
Yes, that's the sound of a very successful sporting weekend for a South African perspective. All of our local franchises in the United Rugby Championship, the Sharks, Lions, Bulls and Stormers, all picking up pretty impressive wins over the European opposition on home soil for the second weekend in a row. And with us to review all of the action is our sports producer all the way in, Josie, Mike Pedro. Mike, great to be connecting with you, my friend. The very, very, very dominant display continues for a second week. Brilliant performance. Let's start with the Bulls. Probably, I'm going to put it out there, their best performance. 57-12 over the Scarlets. When Jake White talks about total rugby, that clearly came together on the day. What does he mean by total rugby? What worked for them?
I think pretty much everything worked for them on the day. They were brilliant with the ball in hand, running the ball. They were physical up front with the forwards. A number of tries were scored just by the forwards bashing their way over the line, basically. And that was all set up by the running rugby that they had put together before that. So I think from a Bulls perspective and from a Jake White perspective, they are on the right track at the moment. They started off a little bit slowly this season. People had them as the South African team to probably do the best in the competition.
Yeah.
And until the last 2 weeks, I don't think they really lived up to that billing. But the last two performances have definitely shown the work that they've put in on the training ground, in the things that they try and implement in the game. And I think they are now the South African team to beat, because their all-round game is just too powerful for the European opposition at the moment.
Yeah, and he's also benefiting from individuals within that group standing up and putting their hands up as well, which is brilliant. The Sharks probably had the easiest draw of the weekend, but it didn't really look like that at the start of the match. They ultimately came away 38-6 winners over Zebre, but the Italians fought hard in those opening minutes. A bit of a slow start for the Sharks. What can they do to adjust that? Because against a less forgiving team, 15, 20 points could be stolen in that opening stanza. What did you make of the Sharks' performance against what should have been the whipping boys of the weekend's action, but Zebre kind of put their hands up?
Yeah, I think Zebre were dogged on defense in the opening 40, and then again the physicality aspect of it probably just got to them in the second half, and the Sharks took full advantage. So I think with the Sharks at the moment, they are starting games slowly, which will be their concern. This is the second week in a row where they've probably scored and played their best rugby in the second 40 minutes of the game. So I think if they get off to better starts in matches, they will probably not have to put in as much effort in the second half. But it's still good to see that the halftime team talks obviously do the trick. That's what they're for. So it's good that from a Sharks perspective that they are getting things right during the course of 80 minutes. It's just about maybe starting games better so that it's not as edgy at halftime, unless that's what they're going for, in which case, brilliant game plan.
Yeah, man. Hey, it works if you're getting the win at the end of the day. Just looking at that star-laden side, though, the Sharks really should be winning every encounter like that. I think I'm most proud of one performance this weekend, and it's got to be for the Lions in the context of how much they've been struggling to kind of finish off those good performances. They show so much promise. There's clearly a lot of talent in that young side. Some great experience as well, but they had to fight hard. It was called a street fight up against Munster, probably the stiffest opposition in the mix locally this weekend, and they had to come from behind, and they did it. This is going to be a massive win psychologically for this Lions outfit.
Definitely, and I think you mentioned the young players. One guy who stands out in particular, I think, is Vincent Chituka. He's been a stalwart in that Lions side for the last couple of seasons, and he's still only in his early 20s. So definitely someone that they will probably look to build this team around in the near future, because I do see him potentially going to a bigger franchise. Yeah. No disrespect to the Lions, but I do see him ending up at the likes of either the Sharks or the Bulls in the not too distant future. So I think for the moment, the Lions are making the most of his impact on games, and he's definitely having that impact. And I think all in all, the Lions put in a brilliant performance against Munster. Munster, one of the top teams in the competition. Yes, they don't have a lot of their international players which can be said of all the European sides at the moment. But the Lions still had to come from behind. They still had to put in the effort, and they still had to get the points. They still had to maximize their opportunities, and they did exactly that. And like you say, it's going to be a huge psychological boost and confidence boost for them heading into what remains of the regular season.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's beating top European opposition, even if they are missing a couple of their stalwarts. Really, really important sculpt there. And then we rounded it off with another dominant display this weekend. The Stormers over Cardiff, 43. You know, watching that match, you'd struggle to think why any South African team has lost at all throughout this tournament. I mean, overall, a massive shift. What's changed? What's clicked? What's working for the South African franchises that wasn't before?
I think a big factor is the European sides not having their international players, which is obviously what happened in the first round of matches on home soil here in South Africa. The SA teams didn't really have their Springboks available. Now, a lot of the Springboks are part of these squads, and you can see the difference that it makes. And I think that can be a good thing and a bad thing, because it shows that there isn't really a lot of depth outside of the Springboks, or quality depth outside of the Springbok players within these franchises. But it still also shows that they can get victories and they can be competitive, because in that first round of matches, it's not like South African teams who are getting completely blown out the water by 50, 60 points every week. They still put in competitive performances, maybe just lack that little bit of quality and experience, which they obviously now have, and working together for longer periods. That was the beginning of the season. Not a lot of the guys have been together for an extended amount of time. They've had that time now, and you can see the results coming through on the field.
Yep, the continuity is there, the fierce is there, with a little bit of extra green and gold spirit smattered amongst those teams. But certainly I think we can look forward to the next phase of the URC with a little bit of promise and hope. Mike Pedro, enjoy the rest of your time in Josie, my friend. We can't wait to have you back down south. And to everybody who got to watch their teams win this weekend, seldom that all of us get to do that. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Oh, thanks, G-Man. You know what? Whether your team won or lost this weekend, we have the perfect solution for that. Jenny Morris is here to make the perfect brekkie.
A classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover.
I think I've said this before, but breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, and it really can be one of life's simplest of pleasures, especially when it is our classic mayo breakfast egg boats. Now, these are next level. They are creamy. They are baked eggs served inside some crusty bread, and Jenny Morris is here to show us just how fun. This is a fun way to serve food.
And
you technically don't need cutlery.
Absolutely. and the kids even can join you to make this, and you can put your own favorite fillings in. You can do it vegetarian, you can do it meaty, but of course, secret ingredient. In fact, you can give me 2 tablespoons of that.
2 tablespoons. So we are using our Clover Classic Tangy Mayonnaise number 2. It comes in 3 different varieties of tanginess. So you get your number 1, which is mild. We are using number 2, which is medium, and then there's also number 3.
And I love the idea of the mayonnaise in the egg because it gives it a nice bit of depth. Ooh. So I'm going to give you like a really brekkie. We're going to go with some chopped bacon that's been cooked up nice and crispy.
Well, I can imagine the mayo pairs well with the egg because it's made from egg.
Egg mayo, of course. They are good friends. They are best buddies. What would we do without eggs?
Exactly.
So some lovely red pepper. You can put yellow peppers, green peppers. You can do it like a little rainbow. Cheese, once again, you can choose your cheese. Mostly I find when I'm doing this for kids that they prefer cheese that's not too strong.
Okay.
So some cheddar is really good. Some pepper. Some salt.
And this is something also, I mean, I'm looking at these ingredients. If you've got any leftovers, is this something you would recommend?
Oh, my goodness gracious me, sweetheart. Can you imagine a lovely curried mince boat with your gorgeous classic mayo? Then I would go for the really, really tangy one. You could make a bobotie one with leftover bobotie. It would be stunning. And then, of course, some of this gorgeous sour cream. If you don't have any sour cream in the house, you can just take some fresh cream and just give it a little spritz of lemon juice.
Okay, so you can make your own.
You can make your own, so don't be put off. So that's a little hack. Look at that, doesn't that look absolutely absolutely marvellous.
That does. And then we're simply going to be, obviously, we've scooped out the bread inners for our little boats.
What do you do when you scoop the bread out? Do you eat the
Of
scoop?
course. Waste it.
Waste not, what not?
No. Can I chop some basil here for you?
Beautiful fresh basil you can stick onto that. You can even take some cherry tomatoes and pop them over the top if you want to. Just to sort of decorasi it up a little bit more. I did a naughty thing. I put all the cheese into this, but you can just take...
Leave a little bit of cheese.
You leave some cheese to just sprinkle over the top. There we go. And you just sprinkle your cheese over the top and in it goes.
Love the smell of fresh basil.
That's your one, that's my one.
Perfect.
All right, and I've made some up front, so I'm inviting you to come and have a little taste of my little egg boat.
You don't have to ask me twice to come into the kitchen and try your little egg boats. Of course, we do have this recipe available for you. It's on our, I nearly said WhatsApp, it's on our website, expressoshow.com. So you just give it a nice little dip.
Yes.
And then a bite.
A little classic dip, darling.
It is a classic dip.
She's got a happy mouth, this girl.
This is winning.
Isn't it?
This is winning. I love the tanginess that comes through from our classic mayo. I would even add more spice to this, like
chili.
Add a bit of chili to this, and I mean, I think our classic mayo is also going to just soothe that bite.
It will. Oh, absolutely.
Well, there we go.
Actually, yeah, you could actually soothe you could pump it up.
Pump it up a little bit with a little cayenne pepper. There we go. Well, listen, this recipe is available for you on our website, expressoshow.com. And if you've missed any of the steps, you are in luck. We've got a recap for you.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Welcome back to it. Yes, it is your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso. We're live here on S3 as we celebrate Human Rights Day today. And we know that South Africa celebrates Human Rights Day every year without fail on the 21st of March. And our country's first democratic election was held back in 1994. And I know a lot of people will remember this, when Nelson Mandela became president. Now, in this year, the 21st of March, we know that this has become Human Rights Day.
Yeah, man, and it has been included in the list of national holidays where we pay tribute to the Sharpeville massacre that occurred on this exact day back in 1960. Just to let those images sink in, this horrific event resulted in the death of 69 people, including the wounding of 180 others by the apartheid police. They fired bullets at a peaceful crowd of protesters who were protesting against past laws at the time. So what are human rights? Well, let's start with the Bill of Rights. It is the cornerstone of our democracy, and it's comprehensively addressing South Africa's history of oppression, colonialism, and other forms of human violations. Now, our Constitution enshrines the rights of all of the people in South Africa, and it affirms the democratic values of human dignity, equality, and freedom. It protects the rights of every human being, irrespective of race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and it protects the rights of foreign nationals as well.
That's good. It's a big bill, a bill of human rights indeed. And it's of course, it speaks to the fact that every individual has the right to equality, very important, human dignity and life. And you really do have the right to citizenship and security, as well as the right to privacy. You know, you've got the right to freedom of religion, freedom of belief, and freedom of opinion, and the freedom of expression.
Yeah, man, we really do have the best cornerstone of human rights in the world. The core services provided by local governments are basic human rights, such as the right to sanitation, to running water, and to electricity. And then finally, every child and adult has the right to a basic and an equal education.
All right, so by celebrating this day, we commemorate those painful experiences, those painful chapters of our history. The human rights enshrined within our Constitution should really serve as a constant reminder, really, that the dark deeds of the past should never and will never be repeated again. Never, never, and never again. In the words of Nelson Mandela, Happy Human Rights Day, South Africa.
Such an important day, of course, and we're going to continue that conversation right now, and maybe for a different note and for a different reason. Now, this is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. Now, the Human Rights Day is bringing something called a stranger kind, which is providing an opportunity to sit and engage with a stranger and to listen to their unique lived experience, some of whom will be a brain tumor survivor, hearing-impaired radio presenter, someone living with depression, an ex-gangster, a cancer survivor, HIV, plus anyone or someone that's even living with, well, maybe someone even living with Asperger's, right? So there's so many people that we're going to get to chat to this morning, and this event is all about bringing diverse people together for conversations to foster diversity as well as inclusion. Yeah, sounds incredible. Now, with us this morning to chat about this incredible initiative is ASK founder. It's Mina van Wyk, and I want to say good morning to you. This is an incredible opportunity, an incredible conversation. But firstly, Mari, good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
This is a crazy initiative, a crazy idea. Where did the idea even stem from to think, let's sit down and have a conversation with strangers with crazy, impactful lives?
So I always joke and say I'm the person that ruins the family dinner.
Okay.
I'm the one that loves having conversations about things that we sometimes in society consider as off the topic. And so I realized there's very seldom a safe space to have these conversations. So 4 years ago, I started looking around at different methodologies and creating these little spaces for people to be able to know that it's okay to have these conversations, that it's safe. But I think very importantly is also to get the right people to have these conversations. Someone that has lived experience. You know, I can be very passionate about poverty, but if I haven't had lived experience about it, I should probably not be having that conversation.
Yeah.
And so we try to see how do we get those spaces where we find people with lived experience that can tell their stories and other people to sit down and hear it. And so that's pretty much what we've been doing for the past few years.
I'm trying to figure out who this actually benefits, because on the one side you have someone telling their story, having that opportunity to be passionate about it, and then you have the listener on the other end paying attention, but also being impacted by something that I would imagine is potentially life-changing and life-shifting, right? I mean, the conversation and the thinking behind this conversation, where was that direction for you? I mean, what were you really thinking about when you thought this through?
I think that is the beauty of the simplicity. We are, as humans, drawn to conversations and storytelling. I think as a nation, we are passionate about stories. And to see how those conversational spaces can be turned into a place exactly where both people can benefit when both people sign up for the conversation. And so definitely our volunteers have seen how not only can something that maybe was negative or something that is very day-to-day for them make a difference to someone else, but someone else from the general public that can sign up to a conversation and know, you know, it's just one-on-one. So if I ask that very awkward kind of question or maybe a sensitive question or the ignorant question, there's not going to be an audience judging me. So I get the opportunity to maybe ask questions I wouldn't have otherwise had. But also at the same time, I get to meet these incredible people that very seldom in my day-to-day life I would have had an opportunity to meet up with.
Yeah, and I imagine there's so many things that you could find out and learn from these conversations. Maybe tying back into Human Rights Day as an example, I mean, with what the nation has gone through, with what we as a country have gone through to gain this democracy, I'm sure there's some crazy stories within that kind of tie up with Human Rights Day, yeah?
Definitely, and I think almost all of our stories actually resonates with the concept of human rights. I think we would have a lot more compassion and understanding for other people if we have a meaningful conversation with someone and we get to ask the questions that's important to us. We have seen our people with 45 minutes with a complete stranger walks away not just moved to compassion or empathy or better understanding, but actually advocating for someone else that they've never met before. And walking, I mean, organizations that change the way they want to approach accessibility in the company because of one conversation. And that is the power of these spaces that we're going, how, as a human right, can we use like an easy conversation actually to move people to advocate for it.
An easy conversation, but a pertinent one nonetheless. Now I'm thinking to myself, what a beautiful world it would be if we all had an opportunity to have these conversations with people and have an open space where we can ask the questions and, like you said, almost draw identity within ourselves from some of these past experiences. It would be a beautiful thing if everyone could do this. I mean, imagine this grew to that point when this just became the norm. How's your plan in terms of growing this and making this become something that it can be? And I mean, the potential is huge, really.
Yes, and so that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that every person sitting out there look at themselves and ask, you know, what is my normal that can be something of value to someone else and how can I tell my story in these platforms? But we want communities to reach out to us and say, how do we start this within our community? How do we train people to host these events? We want companies to reach out to us and say, how do we help you put it out there? Spaces, you know, these events are free to the public. It's open for anyone. So it would be great to partner with more people to say, listen, we want that kind of spaces in our communities. And so our hope is that people will come forward and reach out to us and say, how do I get involved? Not necessarily as a storyteller even, but, you know, just creating more opportunities in more spaces for this to happen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Marty van Wyk, and I just got to ask you before we actually leave, maybe you can plug Mzansi in. Where can they get involved? Where can they find the event? And where can they start this conversation?
Fantastic, yeah. So today, if you are in Cape Town, you can go to the waterfront. Anytime from 11 to 3, we are having these conversations. It's free, it's open to anyone. And then on the 6th of April, we'll be hosting an online event as well, so people can check out our social media or our website for that information. And then for anything else, you can reach out to us and we'll see how we can connect you to any of our future events.
Boom! Nailed it! Absolutely love it. Thank you for the conversation and thank you for joining us on Human Rights Day and obviously sharing this incredible project. I look so forward to it.
Thank you so much.
We'll catch up with you in just a bit. Mzansi carrying on with everything Human Rights Day.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Now, the month of March in South Africa devotes special focus on human rights, with today, the 21st of March, a historic moment which will be captured in time as the Artscape honors those who fought for the basic liberties as we now enjoy them, now enshrined in our Constitution through their various productions. Now, joining us this morning to tell us all about this is Dr. Marlene Leroux from Artscape, as well as Tasneem Andrews, as well as Nadine McKenzie from the Unmute Dance Company. Good morning, ladies. So good to have you here.
Good morning.
Happy Human Rights Day.
Happy Human Rights.
It's really fantastic. Well, Dr. Marlene, it's really so good to have you here, because every single time we've got you joining us and sitting next to us on the couch here, it's good news from the theatre. It's good news around what you are doing to uplift and highlight and showcase the talents of those who might otherwise go unnoticed, right?
Very important also for us to say that we must never forget our past, because it is a terrible day what happened years ago on this particular day. And that's why we invested as Artscape through the arts for youth development, but also professional companies like Unmute that brings together young people with disabilities and without disabilities, so that we can make disability visible. That is human rights as well. So for us, it's important that we don't package human rights just as one aspect, but we cut across what human rights means to everybody.
Yeah.
But with human rights comes also responsibilities.
Yes.
And I want to say to Nadine and Unmute in particular, how they have tackled that disability must be visible in the theatre. But also we mustn't forget that young people, it comes with responsibilities, it's work ethics, it is about being on time, and it's about confidence building, but it's also about giving back to their communities.
What I do love about this is that you really are shining the spotlight on change makers through these various productions that the Artscape is staging and putting together. Let's talk about some of these activities before we chat to the ladies here.
We also have the visibility of our rural areas portraits.
Love that.
That's been through Manfred Ziller, that's been traveling with us for nearly 8 years, like Unmute, where we visited from Sierra, Saron, all over in the communities, taking theatre to the people.
Yeah.
And what we have done is that we have selected with the various municipalities people that made a difference in their communities without becoming ministers or becoming really the big shots in local government, but have built the communities. So their portraits are hanging now in Artscape to say that your lives do matters.
And all lives do matter, which is really fantastic to see that those change makers are ordinary people from various communities who have walked this journey with you, but continue to walk the talk in their communities. Nadine, tell me, why is this platform so important that the Artscape, sort of stand for?
I think it's for, like Marlene mentioned, young people, young voices. We need so many voices, different voices, to represent young people, well, our community out there at large. We need more representation. And yeah, with new voices and productions especially, from dance to theatre, you name it, it's important to have a variety of voices and artists to showcase works and to also inspire others to get more out there as well.
Yeah, I love that. And Tasneem, you are, of course, part of this program. Why was it so important for you to really plow your heart and your talent and your entire being into this? Why does this matter so much to you?
Well, I think it just goes back into when everyone says that the youth must take over, and it's all going back to the youth, you know. Like being the youngest of the company as well at the moment, you know, it's just you're going back into the past and bringing out what's next, what's coming next, basically.
What are you going to be bringing to the table, Tasneem? I mean, you're very excited about this, and I've been seeing you warming up and prancing about all across the studio. You have a certain uniqueness, I imagine, that you're going to be bringing to the production. What is it?
Well, it's just, can I say, like with the production that we are coming up with, that's coming up now, time lapse, bringing the future to the table, changing lives, you know, bringing what you're bringing to the table, basically. So personality,
I love that.
excitement, energy, all that, yeah.
Stunning. And then, Nadine, what uniqueness and creativity do you feel that you're going to be plugging into it?
Just for me, personally, storytelling, especially current relevant stories as well, ones that we can all relate to, and just finding connection again. It's been a tough time with COVID, where there's been a lot of disconnect in many ways. So this is for us mainly about coming together again and rebuilding those connections.
Fantastic. I love this. Look, there's a lot happening at the Artscape Theatre. Dr. Malene LaRue, it's really awesome to have you here. Ladies, I can't wait to see you guys perform for us here and showcasing to us what's going to be happening. And for everybody at home, go on to artscape.co.za for all the information that you need. There is really a plethora of performances and productions that are lined up for you this month. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
What a fantastic way to obviously celebrate Human Rights Day. And obviously it's just gone past the hour, so it's time to take a look at the news headlines once again. And starting on national fronts, the South African Civil Aviation Authority, otherwise known as SACA or SACAA, says it's still gathering preliminary information about the incident in which a British Airways plane experienced technical problems with its landing gear. Now on Saturday, a British Airways flight from Gqeberha to Cape Town was unable to land at least 4 times. Now the same aircraft had experienced landing gear difficulties in February, and an investigation into the incident may be launched based on the information gathered. Now, no injuries or fatalities were reported, and the landing difficulties resulted in a 15-minute delay. Sticking to national news headlines, President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Xi Jinping of China have telephonically discussed the ongoing conflict in the Ukraine. Now, in a social media post, the presidency said Ramaphosa and Xi had discussed the need to find a lasting peace, as well as the need to humanitarian assistance to the people of Ukraine and the plight of African students that are there. Now, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs said both countries support Russia and Ukraine in keeping the momentum of peace talks going and settling disputes through dialogue as well as negotiations. Well, from national news headlines, we head over to international headlines, and this one takes place in Turkey. And Turkey says Russia and Ukraine have made progress on their negotiations to halt the war, and the two sides are, and inverted commas, close to an agreement. Now, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said yesterday, and quoted, "Of course, it's not an easy thing to come to terms with while the war is going on, but we see that the parties are close to an agreement. We are working day and night for peace," unquote. Now, Cavusoglu made these encouraging comments during a tripartite meeting with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in Antalya, Turkey. Now, next up, Sub-Saharan Africa is the world's least connected region, with around a quarter of the population still lacking mobile broadband coverage. Now, a subsea cable owned by Google that promises to double internet speeds for millions in Africa has arrived in Togo. Now, the Equino cable, the first of its kind to reach Africa, is from Portugal and will double internet speeds for Togo's some 8 million residents. Now, most countries in West Africa are at the bottom of a World Bank global ranking on internet penetration. Lastly, in entertainment news, and the world will be very familiar with this man. Now, it's reported that famous American rapper Kanye West is no longer due to appear at the Grammy Music Awards ceremony on April the 3rd due to what is called his, inverted commas, concerning online behavior. Now, West is nominated for 5 awards at the Grammys, and it's believed that it's his best shot at finally taking home Album of the Year with Montero. Now, the show is set to be hosted by Trevor Noah, who Kanye launched a scathing racist attack on and was subsequently last week banned from Instagram for at least 24 hours. Now, West's racial slur came after Noah had accused Kanye of harassing Kim Kardashian since she filed for divorce from him. Now, speaking on The Daily Show, of which he said, and this is the host Trevor Noah, who says the following, and quotes, "I see a woman who wants to live her life without being harassed by an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband or an ex-anything," unquote. Now, yesterday, Noah tweeted that West should not be cancelled at the Grammys, but rather counseled. On that light note, I leave you with the rest of the headlines. Here's G to take another look at the sport.
Thank you so much, Ryle. So much happening over the sporting weekend. We've tried to hone in on what we can, so let's get through as many highlights as possible. Starting from a positive perspective from the South African camp, the Proteas, they bounced back from Friday's shock loss to Bangladesh by winning the pink ODI to ensure that the series is now level at 1 apiece with 1 match left to play. So South Africa started the series off with that 38-run loss to the Tigers. It was a 77 from Shakib Al-Hassan that helped his side post 314 for 7, while Mahidi Miraz, he took 4 for 61 with the ball. While the Proteas, they hit back yesterday with a dominant display, winning by 7 wickets. The away side were restricted to just 194 for 9 in their 50 overs, with player of the match, Kagiso Rabada, taking 5 for just 39. Then Quinton de Kock followed suit, blasting 62 from 41 at the top of the order to power South Africa to that series levelling win. The third and final game happens this coming Wednesday. Then lots at stake on the footballing front this weekend. Let's start with the FA Cup. And the last 4 in the FA Cup have now been settled yesterday, with Liverpool set to play their Premier League title rivals Man City in a blockbuster clash. So the other semi-final will see Crystal Palace take on Chelsea. The Blues were the first team, in fact, to book their spot in the semis with that 2-0 win over Middlesbrough. Lukaku and Ziyech with the goals for City. Then yesterday, Man City, they put 4 past Southampton as they eased past the Saints 4-1 in the end. Sterling, De Bruyne, Foden and Mahrez all netting for the away side. Then Crystal Palace, they beat a hapless Everton 4-0, while Liverpool, they rounded off the weekend's action with that 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest. So the ties are to be played at Wembley Stadium on the 16th and the 17th of April. Then I was back on the track this weekend, so let's start with 2 wheels. And Miguel Oliveira, he held his nerve undoubtedly to win a rain-affected Indonesian MotoGP yesterday, with the Portuguese KTM rider finishing 2.2 seconds ahead of the current world champion Fabio Quartararo, who had started from pole position. Then another Frenchman, Johan Zarco, he was a further 3 seconds adrift to take third after the race was reduced to 20 laps in the end from the originally scheduled 27 because of safety concerns. And then Brad Binder's last corner heroics saw him jump a couple of spots up to finish ahead of his brother in 8th place, while Darren claimed his first top 10 finish in MotoGP as well. Then 6-time world champion Marc Marquez, he was sadly earlier ruled out with a concussion after what looked like an absolute horror crash in that warm-up session. Then, as we turn to 4 wheels, a little bit of drama there as well, as Charles Leclerc of Ferrari won a dramatic Formula One season opening Bahrain Grand Prix yesterday after reigning champion Max Verstappen was forced out with an electrical issue just 2 laps before the end. Carlos Sainz made it a Ferrari 1-2, while Lewis Hamilton was in the mix, snatching 3rd place for Mercedes. It was after Sergio Perez added to Red Bull's disastrous day by spinning out of the race on the last lap as well. And George Russell, in his first race since replacing Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes, he took 4th place, while Haas, which got no points last season, saw Kevin Magnussen finishing 5th in their first race since, or his first race rather, since 2020. If you missed any of those highlights, we'll touch on them again at the top of the hour. Just to all our French viewers out there, congratulations on the 6 Nations clean sweep as well. But we're turning away from the sport and getting back into our Human Rights Day weather, get a global perspective on some of the temperatures we can expect here in SA.
Thank you, Graham. And we are starting off with some global news. Startling heat waves at both of Earth's poles in opposite seasons at the moment are causing alarm among climate scientists, who have warned that the unprecedented events could signal faster and abrupt climate breakdown. Temperatures in Antarctica reached record levels at the weekend, an astonishing 40 degrees Celsius above normal in the places. Now, at the same time, weather stations near the North Pole also showed signs of melting, with some temperatures 30 degrees Celsius above normal. Scientists say for both poles to show such heating at the once is unprecedented, and as polar sea ice melts, it reveals dark sea that absorbs more heat than reflective ice, warming the planet further. Scientists of the London University College said the record temperatures in the Arctic showed that Earth had entered a new extreme phase of climate change much earlier than expected. They also warned that the events unfolding were historic, unprecedented, and dramatic. Well, that's where I leave your global weather update for now. Back to our own shores. We're going to look at those beautiful skies by images you sent through on our Expresso Facebook page. Now, one of our regulars, Louise G. Cheery, she shared her view from East London overlooking her area of the ocean and the river, and it's absolutely beautiful, showing off a hazy sunrise in the distance. And Lynette van der Merwe shared her sunrise view with us overlooking the ocean, showing off a brilliantly bright image of the sun casting its rays across the sky. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, if you have a sunrise photo that you'd love to share with us, please head on over to the Expresso Facebook page. But for now, let's get into your temperatures. Polokwane, a low of 12, a high of 25. Mbombela, partly cloudy, a low of 16, a high of 28. Pretoria, 15, 25. Johannesburg, 13, 22. Partly cloudy in Mahikeng, 15 is your low, 26 your high. Klerksdorp, 14, reaching a high of 24. Kimberley 15, 25, Bloemfontein 12, reaching a high of 22. It's partly cloudy in Richards Bay, 17 is your low, 28 your high. A rainy day in Pietermaritzburg, 14, reaching a high of 24. Durban 20 with a high of 27, Mthatha 13, reaching a high of 26. A sunny day in East London, 18, 26, Cradock 13, 29, Gqeberha 17, reaching a high of 26. Partly cloudy in George, 17 with a high of 25. Cape Town sunny, reaching a high of 25. Worcester 14, 34. Sutherland 13, reaching a high of 26. And Uppington partly cloudy with a low of 19 and a high of 30 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now. A final update coming your way at 8 o'clock.
Now time for some entertainment on this beautiful Human Rights Day. Now, as the Artscape Theatre commemorates and celebrates human rights across this entire month, they've got a plethora of performances that have been lined up, prepared and packaged specifically for you. And this month, of course, the patrons will be treated to various productions focused on human rights. Amongst these talents performing are the Unmute Dance Company, and from them are Nadine McKenzie as well as Tasnim Andrews to perform a duet called Time Lapse, which is going to take you time traveling indeed. Ladies, please do your thing. Yes, come on. Come on, somebody. The Unmute Dance Company. Wow, what a performance. Okay, storytelling, no doubt. That is the name of your game, and that is what you can catch at the Artscape. Go on to artscape.co.za for more information on how you can see this and many other performances they've got lined up. Ladies, that was stunning. Stunning. Yes.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, Mzansi. Yes, we are your personal trainer and founder of FitBay. It's Emma Scrolls in the building, and we are still carrying on our workout in heels. We've already gone through round 1, and she's here to continue to put us through our paces, both literally and figuratively, with this morning's workout as we continue our fitness in heels. Now, to counter the elevated angle of a heel, women tend to lean a little bit forward, right? But that means you're essentially tightening your abdominal muscles and engaging the pelvis. So there's some benefits like this. As long as you are wearing your heels and listening to this lady over here, there'll be more benefits as well, right? So you got the crew out here. We all ready. Tabiso, you haven't even put your skirt on yet. You're late to the party.
You know what? For a thing like this, you have to get into it.
You got to get into the character, man.
I feel like we need a few of us. Yeah.
Are you sure it's not your first time? I don't know. I don't know. Right, Emma, while he carries on with that, you can take myself and Mzansi the rest
Well,
of the workout.
guys, we need to give these boys just a minute to get themselves together. But while we are doing that, I think we should kick things off with a little bit of a heightened workout. I want us to speed things up. I want us to get these boys moving. I want us to challenge them a little bit more. And I want us to work up a little bit of the sweat now.
Okay.
So if you saw our first segment, we were just warming up, and I was just getting these boys into the comfort of wearing heels, but right now we are gonna get these boys moving. Okay, you ready?
Okay, all right, let's do it. I'm ready to get moving.
He says that, but he doesn't look that way. He's like, help me.
Okay, let's
Okay, guys, so our feet are apart. Our hands go 1, 2, over the back, 3, pushing out for 4. We go 5, up, 6, up, turn, and pop open.
What are you popping open? What is it exactly we are popping open?
Pop your sass open, man.
It's a family show. No one answer that. Okay, are we ready? Let's go again.
Okay.
Let's go one more
so
time.
we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop down for 5, 6. Turn 7. Pop open 8. Guys, it's way faster than this, hey?
Right. What was that? Not the pace?
No.
Wow, okay. All right.
Okay, so let's go. Let's like double time.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
ready?
step up. Mzansi, I hope you're joining in on this,
6,
right?
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pop open 8.
Okay. All right. All right. That's the pace for me. That's the pace for me.
Okay, do you always have it.
I think we've got the stops. You think you got
Because
this?
we want to add on.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
All right.
Are we going to add on? Are you ready? Okay, so once we pop, we drop all the way down.
Okay.
Pop, now we drop, and we flick, and then we hippity hop.
Hippity.
Okay? So we pop, we drop, we flick, we hippity hop.
Okay.
Love the pelvic thrusting going on here.
I also do feel like I'm getting an insider to all women's moves here.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Nothing's going to work anymore. Now when you open the screen, popping and locking, you're going to be like, it's
I've seen that. Fitbay got you all sorted.
Okay, so we're going to practice one more time, and then I'm going to do it full speed with music like Performance Day.
Okay, last chance to practice some. Zani,
Are
join
you
us
ready?
now so you can get the moves right after this. Last round of practice.
Right, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, open around. One side down, other side. Flipping, popping, dropping, flicking, hippity, hopping.
It is a workout.
All right,
It
okay.
really is, eh?
It is a workout. I must agree with Tubbs. I'm feeling my body. I'm feeling the stimulation, the legs, the calves are burning. This is working out officially.
These guys are speaking a big game, but let's be honest, they're amazing. Let's wrap this up. Let's do our final performance.
Yeah,
cool.
Are we ready?
All right, let's do it.
6,
5, 6, 7, 8.
1, 2, open around. One side, other side, turning, opening, dropping, popping, hippity, hopping.
Yeah, mama. If you keep this up, Emma, I might be into the shop and getting a pair of heels. I'm feeling good in my heels. I'm not going to lie. And of course, we've got one more round of this action coming at you. It's working out in heels. The Fitbays are here. They're showing us how it's done. And Tapisa and I are just about keeping up. Last one. I love it.
All right, after that calorie burning, the perfect prelude to whip up something truly delicious and something that I've never heard of before. Monkey bread. What are we talking about? So apparently it's a sweet, gooey bundt cake made from balls of dough and then often served as an indulgent, very indulgent breakfast or brunch. And this is loved in America, and I have a feeling it's going to be loved here. I'm looking at the fire in Jenny Morris's eyes this morning. I love it when your eyes light up because then I know we're making something that's like, woo, woo. And this has got it all, girl. But a lot of steps to the process. So I'm going to try and help you out as much as possible.
We start here.
So what do you need from me?
Okay, so I need you to, let's flip this out.
That is quite a thing of dough.
You can buy it. You can make it or you can buy it. So let's have a little race. Okay. Okay, put some flour in your hand.
You are like the dough queen. I've seen you do things with dough that
I love it. I mean,
no other human being is capable of. So what are we doing here?
So we're going to make 3 little layers of balls. The idea is to get these balls going like this.
Okay.
Come on, Gigi. Come, baby. Roll them balls.
Come on.
If they can dance in high heels,
I can roll the balls.
You can roll the balls.
I can roll the balls.
Get that ball rolling.
Come on.
So while you're doing that, you keep rolling. I'm going to mix.
And you're not being too precious about this, as I see it. It's just about getting those individual pieces.
Yeah, I don't want the balls too big, but
bite size, we'll call them.
those are going to be like
these
big.
So why monkey cake? Where did the monkey? How did the monkey get involved here?
I don't know if we're even allowed to say monkey anymore.
Oh,
it's so silly, naughty little monkey.
I love this. I love this concept. It is very indulgent as a brunch, but I'm all about that. And it's Human Rights Day, so hopefully people are going to be taking it easy, spending time with their family. So go and do it. You made me insecure about the size of my balls. Now I'm going to have to make them a little bit smaller.
I never did.
You did. You just now look at yours are a different shape to mine.
My balls are bigger than yours. Right, go.
Pack the balls in there. Okay, so you roll and pack.
Yes.
Oh.
So roll and pack, roll and pack.
This is like a sporting event, not a cooking
Darling, I'm telling
exercise.
you, watch
Come
this,
on.
Watch this space. So now, while you are doing that, I'm going to do a lovely little layer of these beautiful strawberries. You can use any berries, but this is good. Now, you're getting very enthusiastic with these
must
balls.
I slow down? Or no?
No, keep going, keep going.
I'm making them slightly smaller because I like the idea of having all these little pockets of deliciousness.
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting it.
Look at me, baby. Look at me.
Oh, wow.
Okay. You can always have one big ball amongst the little balls.
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised Zoe's not here eating the raw dough in the cinnamon sugar. Oh, no, she's...
So we'll keep that one for
she's
her.
crazy for it. No, she loves it, and I would imagine with the cinnamon sugar,
I'm even going to do
better.
that.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so that's the drizzle, which we're going to use our beautiful
our Clover Bliss, and we are using the double cream plain yogurt for this.
Wild
Don't
Graham,
play.
just go slowly.
Okay, so we've got to have, is this vanilla essence?
Vanilla, yes.
So all of that's going in, hey?
Yes.
Okay.
And slowly, slowly catch the monkey.
Okay.
As they say in the classics.
So I'm going to just start 1 tablespoon or less,
and then we just
gradually...
that's going to be the drizzle that we'll put in afterwards. But I'm a clever monkey because I have made one up front, so...
Cool, but a pre-drizzle, I like it.
Now have a look at that. Doesn't that
you
look
really
gorgeous?
don't need a lot of the double cream. It
But
comes
look at
together
this.
beautifully.
Lots of melted butter, and look at all that gorgeous sugar.
So this is the kind of meal that's going to be like a high point in your week kind of a thing. Wouldn't suggest eating this every day. It's a treat for the weekend.
Yes, it's fabulous for Easter.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking for something, you could put a couple of little chocolate Easter balls in here as well.
Ooh, you could sneak all sorts of goodies in there.
All kinds of things in here. So it's a lovely idea. Look at that.
Wow.
And this is all going to drizzle down and it's going to find its way. But I've made one, so I'm going to leave
This is insane. How come we haven't made this like once a week, every day since I've worked on this show? Like this
come
is
here, darling.
incredible. Okay, so all the pieces that I play, this little puppy goes into the oven for how long?
This will go for about, it's bread about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. You can sort of check it out. You can feel it.
Do you think they didn't give us a knife on purpose?
They don't want us to touch it.
No, we'll share this. I guarantee you, before the end of the show, this whole thing is going to be eaten and we'll share it with our entire crew. I'm coming back for you, my little friend. Absolutely beautiful, actually quite simple to make, and the end result is truly spectacular. And of course, using the Clover Bliss double cream plain yogurt, we know it's deliciously thick, it's creamy, it's truly unbelievably indulgent double cream yogurt for snacking in between, or you can use it in amazing recipes like this for our drizzle. It's going to add a perfect velvety texture and a beautiful creamy taste. Absolutely love it. If you want to find this recipe, you can go to expressoshow.com. We finished it off with a little bit of roasted nuts. I'm thinking even some pistachios might go beautifully in there.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And a little Persian rose petals. You can make it into a little sexy Valentine one, too.
Bit of rose water thrown into the mix. This is a jumping off point. You go and have as much fun as you possibly can with our monkey bread. Absolutely beautiful. I need to taste it.
Get the knife.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Upstyle your home with Expresso, as 3 lucky viewers like you stand a chance to win game vouchers to the value of 25,000 Rand for a room improvement of your very own.
To enter, all you have to do is post a photo of the space you want to revamp on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter competition post, and remember to use the hashtag #GotGame in your entry.
The competition is closing on the 22nd of March 2022, and all the terms and conditions apply. Good luck.
back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast show, and it's a special human rights edition.
Yeah.
And something else that is also back is the Constitution Hill Human Rights Festival. Now, each year, the 3-day event celebrates the progress South Africa has made in achieving human rights while reminding the public that there is still so much to be done to bring about true equality. Now, the event, which is free to the public, it is a combination of conversations, exhibitions, art, film, live performances, and today is the last day of the festivities, and that's why we are joined online by Nolu Babalo Mamise, Visitor Services Manager and Ambassador for Constitution Hill. Welcome her to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Zoe. Thank you.
This is really fantastic, Nolu Babalo. I read that this year's festival coincides with the 25th anniversary of the adoption of our Constitution, which without a doubt is a major cause for celebration. So halala to that. But how is this being commemorated at the festival this year?
We're obviously excited to be back on site again with all our stakeholders instead of being online, which is what had happened in the last 2 years. But everything, so all the dialogues, all the conversations, all the film, the expressions, the exhibitions, they are all tied into the Constitution, right? So the Constitution is the core focus of everything that we're doing. So, for example, you have your socioeconomic rights activists, you have Section 27, SERI, that kind of a thing. You have UNICEF as one of our partners. We have Brand SA, the Department of Health, Gauteng, COMSA, which is for refugee rights. So every single aspect of what we're doing in the 3 days, with today being day 4, is completely tied into the Constitution.
Well, we have one of the best constitutions in the world. And Nolu Babalo, I want to know from you, 26 years into our democracy, I think many of us, especially the born-frees, are frustrated by the ideals not yet achieved. How is the Constitution Hill Human Rights Festival helping to fuel those conversations and make sure that that passion is there for the youth, especially for those who want to be part of seeing that change being implemented?
Something very touching that I always start off with is in a room of 30, 60 young people, and you ask them how many of you have held a copy of the Constitution in your hand. 1 or 2 hands will go up. But by the same token, in a room of 60 educators who teach life orientation or history, you ask the same question, 1 or 2 hands go up. So for us, I think the festival is about creating that awareness. You have no idea how very few South Africans have interacted with the Constitution, one, know what the provisions of the Constitution are, two. So there's no way that we can actually even mobilize to have these ideals realized if we don't know what the Constitution even says. So the nice thing about the festival is it was so sweet yesterday. Moms and dads were dancing with little ones in front of the stage with one of the performances in the afternoon. So having this vibrant, safe space for everybody, first of all, to be at, it sparks that interest you speak about. But obviously, once you are then at the activism role, literally most of your NGO and your civil society movements are still at the activism role, where you can walk around and interact with the different rights that they all fight for. So there's obviously your LGBTIQ rights. There's, as I said, education rights, children's rights. We have Play Africa doing little plays and little mood courts with little ones. What a wonderful way to introduce the topic to a 5-year-old, for example.
Now, we know that today is the last day of the festivities, which, I'm sad about, because, you almost wish that we could stretch this out for as long as possible. We want this going on forever. But which highlights can the people coming through expect to see today?
Okay, so the big thing about today is every single one of our tours is completely complimentary. So we are a museum. I know that we are an activist site. We are Lekgotla for all these dialogues, but we are first and foremost a museum. And so people would normally buy tickets to come and enjoy any one of our tours, but today everything's completely free. So you bring your families, you bring the teenagers, you bring the born frees, and I can tell you, at the end of a 1-hour highlight tour, you've planted a seed in that born free, and that born free will become someone who will maybe be a catalyst for change in some way. So please, the important thing for me, come to the complimentary tours, find out what everything's all about, find out what this day is commemorating, who are the heroes who were on site and what had happened to them. And then obviously we still have dialogues. We've got film, art exhibitions, photo and craft stalls. We've got a little kiddie section, so please don't be afraid to bring the little ones. Play Africa is on site, and they look after them very well. And so for me, start off with the tour, join the dialogues, and end off at the activism world, so you can find out how. So that's our call to action, right? Find out how you can play a part in making a better South Africa for all.
Oh, brilliant. Nolu Babalo, thank you so much for your time and all the best for the last day of the festivities. Oh, something for everyone, something for the whole family. So don't miss out on the chance to enjoy the Constitution Hill Human Rights Festival. Today's events include a social forum, book fair, live music, and a maker's market. What better way to enjoy your right to leisure and recreation on this Human Rights Day?
Oh, thank you so much, team. I think when considering our human rights and around this time of the year, you're always looking back into the past as that yardstick. But I think these last couple of years have forced us to look at our current situation and how we are not there yet.
Not there yet, especially when it comes to the community and Observatory, who actually made it their mission and their plight to make sure that the homeless and those that are in need are fed within their community. Check this one out.
Most people, a day after work is well enjoyed by sitting down, watching movies, having dinner and going out. But for a small group of Cape Town residents, their Wednesday evenings is best enjoyed serving the homeless people in the community of Observatory at the Obs Pasta Kitchen. Danny, Kimon, thank you so much for sitting down with me this morning. Honestly, the amazing work that you do is so selfless. Danny, I'll start with you. Tell me about the Obs Pasta Kitchen.
Up until lockdown, where we've now moved into cooking out in Ladles of Love in town and then distributing at the Village Green in the middle of Obs.
And here you are, 4.5 years later, serving the community of Obs. Tell us about what you do and really what motivated you to start the Obs Pasta Kitchen.
You know, there's a lot of street-based people living here, and there's a need not only to feed, but to get to know these people, because often people living amongst homelessness, they're in fear of what's going on. Are these criminals? There's this big association. But when you serve your community and you meet them over a bowl of pasta, you realize, wow, we've got so much in common, and we can work together to creating a stronger community.
I think they do a good job. I think pasta's great. We eat the same, almost the same thing every time. I think it's good to have pasta. When it first opened, it was being served there at Ferdinando. Yeah, we all were standing in a line, and then the Sunday after that, we started going to the church there to get pasta. And then because of COVID, now we're getting pasta here.
I've been volunteering since when lockdown lifted. I've always wanted to be involved in, I think, a Christmas aspiration has always been to cook and be with the homeless people, because it's such a family time. And I think with the pandemic and the amount of homeless people, I think more now than ever, we do need to help our fellow man.
What is the end goal here? Because I mean, seeing the joy in people's faces, that really must mean so much to you. But what is the end goal?
Wow, well, we used to stand up on the chair at our sessions and say, we don't want to see you forever. We don't want to see you forever. We want you to be uplifted. And so we developed our Working on Wellness program, which is a place where we do life skills, human values, yoga and meditation, creating inner peace in the person so that they can find a space to want to change, and we support that change.
We say that we're more than just a bowl of pasta, and we always knew that people would come together when there's free food, you know, but we've got an ulterior motive, and that ulterior motive has always been, well, how can we help you? And through that, we've got people off the street, got homes, built homes. We have got people off drugs into beautiful life now. all kinds of things. So, you know, we really do what we do because of the support and because of our social media that goes out and word of mouth. So many people say, but I've heard of the Pasta Kitchen, and through those resources and through the people that say, well, this is what I can offer or how can I help, we make it all happen. Everybody's included.
You know, I'm sure Cape Town and the rest of Mzansi really wants to help you and volunteer. How can they support you?
We need your money! You know what? So you can support us if you can go to our Instagram at Obs Pasta Kitchen or on our Facebook at the Obs Pasta Kitchen, and you can use our SnapScan code. And these donations are used purely to uplift our community in Observatory by either our big campaigns like Mandela Day for the blankets, or for sanitary packs for our ladies, or for our shelter fees, which is really important.
But people have also got so creative with how they support us. And last year there was an amazing group of women who created a cookbook during the lockdown, and they decided that they wanted to sell that cookbook and donate the proceeds to us. This is an international group of women, and they raised, I think, $2,000 for us through a crowdfunding. So anybody can do it, anybody can get involved and be creative. So Cape Town, what you gonna do for us? Maybe this is an opportunity to put a challenge out there.
Yeah.
See what you can do to support our pasta kitchen.
The goal is not just about feeding the homeless, but really to bring back love and build the community of Observatory in Cape Town.
Look at that smile. I love that. Jamie Lee Domberg, thank you so much for doing that. I'm constantly struck by this thought on this show. Where would we be without the selfless people that are keeping this country going?
So true.
Kudos to you, man.
So true. And the fact that we have food involved in that one means that there's always love to follow. They pair hand in hand, and we'll be doing more of this in just a bit. We'll see you soon. back, Mzansi. We are still at it. Yep, personal trainer and founder of FitBay, Emma Scholz, is joining us one last time this morning as we warm up our fitness in heels, and we're doing that workout. And I know you've loved everything we've done so far, and I can tell you right now, the calves are burning, the abs are burning, the hips are on fire, but we're not stopping there because the agenda continues with this last session. Emma, are you ready for it? One more time. FitBay's are we going to do this? Let's get in order.
We are about to do a music video style. So I need you guys to get your Beyonce on right now. We're in a line, as you can see. I need you to bring it in.
Bring it in, ladies.
Bring it in.
Let's do it. You just said Beyonce and you just got super excited, eh?
Bring it in. Bring it in. Now face this way.
All right.
Okay.
No, I'll stand behind you then.
Okay, so you are holding the person in front of you on the waist, the right hand. Hey.
All right.
Okay, just shaking. Okay, so we're doing hip left, right, hand on the shoulder, and push, release. Left, right, hand on the shoulder, push. One more time. Left, right, hand on the shoulder, push, release. We now step out, turn around, coming back, and grab the hip of the person in front of you and pose. Stick your butt out.
Oh.
Hey, watch what you do with that tutu, man.
I'm so sad we're in front. We can get the back.
Wow.
Okay.
What music video is this?
Okay, do we have this? I think we need
we got it.
Okay, can we put it together?
Yeah.
I'm going to shout it out. I need you to be ready for this. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right, holding the person in front of his waist. Our feet a little bit apart. Can we have the music up just a tiny bit, please? Oh, thank you so much.
Come
Our
on.
hips move in 3, 2, 1, go. Hip back. Hand on the shoulder, out and drop. Go. Hip back. Hand on the shoulder, out one more time. And back. Hip and hand on the shoulder, out, step and turn.
Step.
And booty pop. Oh, yeah.
Why not popping your booty?
I did this.
That's not an excuse. You still have to pop. Show me your pop.
Emma, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually feeling a bit sad because this is the end of our session.
I know.
I never knew I'd have so much fun in here.
I knew you'd have
Especially
so
with
much fun.
Tabi, so I knew you guys would be a ball, but that was awesome. Thank you so much.
So lovely being here, guys. Thank you.
FitBay's getting in here.
Oh.
You loved that as much as Tabiso and I did. Clearly, we're having so much fun here. 3 parts of fitness in heels. I'm telling you, it is a workout. It's not just fun, but if you want to get more of this action, then you can head over to the FitBay's online, check out some of their work, and maybe you want to get involved with your FitBay action in heels. These are the girls you want to get involved with.
Send us videos of you doing it at home. Your dads, your uncles, everybody. Okay, cool. Let's go to the kitchen.
I love that.
Oh, there we go. See, myself and Jenny Morris also getting in on that fun festivities happening there with the guys and FitBay. Oh, but listen, it's time for us to take stock. It is Human Rights Weekend, which means soon approaching is the Easter holidays. They are literally a hop, skip away, and then it's here. And it's always such a wonderful time to celebrate family traditions, from painting eggs and planning your Easter egg hunt to even making and baking delicious food, which means moms will be incredibly busy. Now, the lovely Jenny Morris, she is here to show us how to ease mom's schedule in one way by simplifying a delicious Easter holiday brunch. And this morning we are making some breakfast sliders.
I like to slide into Easter with a slider. You know, the kids love sliders because they're small and they're tasty.
And it's something you can eat with your hands, and it's like, for lack of a better word, it's a little bit messy, but it should be.
It should be
delicious
messy. Yes, you can lick your fingers. And what I'm going to do is you're going to be licking yours because I'm using the cheese griller.
Ooh, Simply Chicken's cheese griller. Oh, I have a weakness for a cheese griller.
Oh, me too.
Can I help you here and slice some tomatoes
we're going to slice the tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I've I'm going to pop these grillers into the pan, and then I'm going to do a couple of mushrooms next to it. So it picks up all that beautiful flavor.
And mushrooms is one of those great ingredients. It just picks up the flavor with whatever you cook.
Absolutely, it's like a sponge. Absolutely like a sponge. So those are going to go over here. And then I'm going to make some scrambled egg. How do you like your eggs? I like mine a little bit creamy and not too wet, but wettish.
Yes. I don't like them too dry.
No.
But I mean, can you believe we're already preparing ourselves for Easter?
It's around the corner, darling.
It is around the corner. I feel like this year is flying by. But what were some of your Easter traditions with your kids?
Do you know what? It was to dye eggs.
Okay.
To make like dyed Easter eggs, and keeping some of those for the chop suey, but I also like to sneak some in to the scrambled egg. So you can leave it out or leave it in. And I'm going to just take a nice big pop of butter over here.
There we go.
And I'm going to just stick my egg in the pan. Do you see how quick that is?
Yes.
Do you like your eggs to be lumpy and bumpy, or do you like...
So I still just break my eggs in the pan and scramble it there.
Okay.
It's like frowned upon when I cook scrambled eggs for other people, and they're like, but there's still white in it. I'm like, I know scrambled eggs have white and yellow in it.
Look, if you're making an omelette, you need to break that white up because you want that lovely even colour. But for me, these eggs are done now. Look.
That's quick.
Done and dusted. Done
See,
and dusted.
this will ease Mom's schedule.
It will indeed, and mums need a little bit of time.
Moms do. Moms are superheroes. They are always busy, and you know what? When the kids want something, they go to Mom first.
And they want it now. So here it is. It's literally minutes. You can get, as I say, get the kids involved, not at the hot stove, but maybe they can help you. Absolutely. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to build one and you're going to build one, because one's for me and one's for you.
Oh, fantastic. Listen, I'm supposed to go for breakfast after this, but with all the amount of items I've been eating on this show, I think it might just be coffee.
Delicious.
Thank you.
And I shall give you one of these delicious,
our little cheese grillers.
They are absolutely divine, and the kids are going to love them.
Just want half of one.
How greedy are you? Do you want one or two?
One is fine for me.
Yeah, you can go at an angle, or you can go like, just look at that cheese on the inside. The kids are going to absolutely love it.
And it's going to be so nice when you bite into that.
Absolutely.
Already adding my eggs.
Look at that. Yeah, you can top mine with egg too, if you wouldn't mind. And I'm going to bring you a little griller. Got a nice bit of colour on it. Have a look at that.
Ooh,
this looks gorgeous.
This looks really,
and then
really good.
some lovely chives. Do you want to do the chives?
I'll do a little bit of chives too.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Happy mouth, happy children.
There we go. This is amazing.
Love it. Oh my goodness, these are divine. I could just forget about the bun and eat them on their own.
Just eat them as they are.
So good.
Now, Simply Chicken products, they are made for real moms with real chicken. Simply Chicken, their products contain no pork and no added MSG. And it's really quick and easy. As you can see, Jenny Morris just showed us how to prepare these delicious mini breakfast sliders. And these are also great to just simply pop into the air fryer. Jenny, while you finish up, I think because Easter time is around the corner, and Easter time has no better, has never been so delicious and so simple. Now, to get your hands on this delicious recipe, you can visit our website, that's expressoshow.com. And for more quick and easy recipes, follow at Simply Chicken ZA on Instagram. And it's a new day, a new week, and a new chance for you to win yourself an air fryer to the value of 2,500 Rand with Simply Chicken. Now, simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page and tell us your Easter holiday #RealMomStories. Now, not only do you stand a chance to win an air fryer, but also a chance to tell your story on Expresso and automatically be entered into the draw for that grand cash prize of 10,000 Rand. Now, don't forget to include that #RealMom in your answer. The competition will close at midday on Friday, the 25th of March, so you have some time to enter, and those T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. Jenny Morris, I think it's safe to say breakfast is served.
I want to tell you, this is my new addiction, my new obsession.
There we go. The recipe is available on expressoshow.com.
Yum.
Yum.
Only you can make my
right, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Stay tuned. We've got your news headlines as well as another beautiful performance from Unmute Dance Company. Don't go anywhere, but here's Raul with your headlines.
Thank you so much, Zoe. It's our last chance to take a look at the headlines, and starting on national news. A rhino poacher who had twice been arrested inside the Kruger National Park has been handed a hefty jail sentence. Now, 45-year-old Mike Nyati, a Mozambican national, and his accomplice, Janeiro Chuguane, were first apprehended on the 17th of September 2017, where they had killed a white rhino. Now, they were granted bail, and Chuguane fled to Mozambique shortly afterwards. Now, he's still at large, and in May 2019, Nyati was bussed again for rhino poaching and has since been sentenced for both incidents to 23-year imprisonment. Now, next up, national news continues. The South African Civil Aviation Authority says it's still gathering preliminary information concerning an incident in which a British Airways plane experienced technical problems with its landing gear. Now, on Saturday, a British Airways flight from Berga to Cape Town was unable to land at least 4 times. Now, the same aircraft had experienced landing gear difficulties in February. Now, an investigation into the incident may be launched based on the information that has been gathered. No injuries or fatalities were reported, and the landing difficulties resulted in a 15-minute delay. Well, now, moving from national headlines, we move into the international news fronts. And the UN experts have drawn up a list of 142 people to be investigated over gross human rights abuses in South Sudan. Now, their alleged crimes included massacres, torture, abductions, detentions, looting, burning of villages, and forced displacement, as well as sexual violence. Now, the UN Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan has said this and the following. Now, it was detailed by Yasmin Suka, chairwoman of the commission, and she said those on the list warranted, and quoted, investigation for a range of crimes under national and international law, unquote. Now, a government response is being awaited. Next up, we move to carry on with the international news, where we head to Turkey, who says Russia and the Ukraine have made progress on their negotiations to halt the war, and the two sides are close to an agreement. Now, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said yesterday, and quoted, "Of course, it's not an easy thing to come to terms with while the war is going on, but we see that the parties are close to an agreement. We are working day and night for peace," unquote. Now, Cavusoglu made these encouraging comments during a tripartite meeting with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in Antalya, Turkey. Now, next up, the UK's most premature twins, and something of a miracle, they've been dubbed, and they've finally headed home from hospital 5 months after their birth, when they were given a 0% chance of survival. Now, little Harley and Harry Crane were conceived via in vitro fertilization, otherwise known as IVF, and were born at, wait for it, 22 weeks and 5 days. Now, babies born after only 5 months of development are not classed as legally viable, but the tough siblings clung to life and have amazed doctors. Now, their 39-year-old mother, Jade, has spent the last 5 months at their side in the newborn intensive care unit of Queen's Medical Hospital in Nottingham, England. Now, after attempting to fall pregnant naturally for 3 years, Jade suffered an ectopic pregnancy before the couple decided to start IVF in 2010. Now, the miracle twins headed home to Derby last week, a mere 2.5 weeks after their original due date. Now, when Jade was checked into hospital on October the 26th, at 22 weeks pregnant, she was told the twins wouldn't make it. But thankfully, the newbies and newborns defied all odds and will undoubtedly go down in medical history. Next up on the headlines after that miraculous note, it's time to take a look one last time at the weather, and here's Tabiso with the latest.
Thanks very much, Raul de Monet. A final look at your weather update as well as some environmental news. We kick off with some encouraging environmental news. The construction of the Tulbagh Bulk Water Supply Project is progressing well, with phase 1 of the project, which entails the construction of a dam, 40% complete. The Department of Water and Sanitation's Western Cape Provincial Head, Ntombizanele Bila Mpariwa, after observing the construction site, said that the department was happy with the progress being made. She said that the project project was on schedule, on budget and approved specs. Moreover, she commended the teams involved in the construction. The Tulbach project is intended to augment water supply for Witzenberg local municipality. And upon completion in June 2023, the dam will yield 1.2 megalitres, and the project is creating much needed jobs during the construction phase, bringing with it desired socio-economic benefits. On completion, it will enable the department to have the ability to develop low-cost housing developments as well as improve water security in the region. And moving for these stories to some sunrise views as we showcase daily those pictures that you share with us on our Facebook page. Thank you very much to Colin Nair from Bluff in Durban, who kicked us off this morning with a beautiful picture on Human Rights Day. Gorgeous, warm-hued shot as the day begins. Lindsay Mark Skippers from Paarl captured this peaceful shot. Look at that, of the blue morning sky with a lone cloud floating in the foreground. At 7 o'clock, contributor Louise G. Sherry shared her view from East London overlooking the area where the ocean and river meet, showing off this hazy sunrise shot. It's beautiful. Lastly, certainly not least, Lynette van der Merwe shared her sunrise view overlooking the ocean, showing off this brilliantly bright shot of the sun casting its rays across the sky. Love to see it. Thank you very much. That's how we start the week, with those sunrise views. We do it again tomorrow morning. Get your picture through to us on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 with the hashtag Expresso Show. And now we take a look at the temperatures across the country, starting off with Bulugwane. Sun and clouds for you today. 12 is your low, reaching a high of 25. If you're out in Mbombela, 16 is your low, reaching a high of 28. Pretoria, sun and clouds, 25% over there. 15 reaching a high of 25. If you find yourself out in Johannesburg, your temperatures today are 13, reaching a maximum of 22. Mahikeng, you'll start off at 15. That's your low, reaching a maximum of 26. Thunder showers are expected in Klerksdorp, 14, reaching a maximum of 24. With some thunder showers for Kimberley today, 15, your low, reaching a high of 25. Bloemfontein, 22 is your high, but your low is 12 today. At Richards Bay, you will start off at 17, peaking at 28. Pietermaritzburg, 14, your minimum, reaching a maximum of 24. Sun and clouds are expected for Durban, the warmest place to be, 20 and 27. Sun and clouds from Tata, 13 and 26, your temps. East London, sunny times for you today, 18 is your minimum, reaching a maximum of 26. With Craddock coming in at a low of 13, reaching a high of 29. Gqeberha, GQ, baby. 17 is your low, reaching a high of 26. With George coming in at a low of 17 and peaking at 25. If you find yourself in Cape Town, the mother city, this one is for you. 19 and 25, sun and clouds for Worcester. For a change today, 16 and 34, with Sutherland coming in at 13, reaching a maximum of 26. Last, certainly not least, Uppington. Your low is 19 and you will reach highs of 30 degrees. And that's where we leave it for this morning. Hopefully, no matter what it's looking like, and it certainly looks like it's warm in most parts of the country, be sure to make it a feel-good type of Human Rights Day.
Now let's talk connectivity, and whether it's streaming our favorite series, watching TikTok videos, whiling away the hours, working or studying from home, there has certainly been an increased demand for high-quality internet connection that can only come via fiber. And this is exactly why Telkom has embarked on an infrastructure upliftment, if you will, by migrating copper-based customers in fiber-ready areas to a more quick and reliable connectivity at no additional cost. We love the sound of that. Fiber is coming, and joining us this morning to share the benefits of upgrading to fiber is Makhosi Mabaso, the Managing Executive of Broadband Solutions at Telkom. And after the last 2 years, I would imagine an incredibly busy person in a very busy space. Makhosi, thank you so much for connecting with us. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well, and well, it's an honor for me to be here, so thank you very much for inviting me.
It's my absolute pleasure, because you herald very positive things. We all want the internet, and we want it fast, and we want it now. How is this fiber upgrade beneficial to customers here in South Africa?
First of all, I think for the customers that are on the fiber coverage, for example, we are now at the position where we can commit faster and not only reliable, but rather even premium connectivity to our customers at no additional cost. But secondly, upgrading to fiber, right, delivers improved connectivity to our DSL customers. In the DSL world, you find that the maximum speeds there is about 40 megabits per second. In the fiber world, for example, it sits at about 500 megabits per second. So that's like 12 times more speed that is available for our customers. And thirdly, and very, very most importantly, is the fact that fiber is really future-proof. Therefore, we are in a much, much better position to really, really commit the reliable connectivity with no disruptions.
So feeding off that, why is now the optimal time for Telkom to move from the copper-based infrastructure fiber? Why is the timing so important?
If you look at ourselves, telecommunication, the railway industry, the energy industry, we spend about roughly 4 to 6 billion rand per annum, right, just to replace copper. Every time you hear about a copper theft, you must then understand the fact that that service is interrupted for that particular service, you know. The second factor, whether you are a corporate, you're a small, medium business, you are at home, we've become a lot more reliant on connectivity, and really having a disrupted connectivity puts our customers at a disadvantage. Thirdly, probably just to mention the fact that we have evolved, right, as consumers. During lockdown, for example, I think as South Africans, we consumed about 137 terabytes of data just on the fixed broadband, because we consume more data. We want to see more videos. You know, you want to be on social media all the time. So it is for this reason that from a Telkom perspective, it's really important for us to ensure that we upgrade our customers to fiber so that they get the best speeds.
Yeah, and the bottom line is the last 2 years have changed us. I think we are probably never going to go back to a conventional work model. Most of us will have 1 foot at home, 1 foot in the office, and we'll be working somewhere in between. So I really do get that. Now, begs the question, most important question, how will the consumers know if their area is fiber ready, and where can they find out more information about their upgrade and get on board?
You can go to our website, www.telkom.co.za. You can also call our call center. You can also follow us on Twitter as well as on Facebook. You'll find us there. We'll be waiting for you so that you can actually, upgrade you to the next best thing, right? And also what we do on the ground, we also make sure that we have agents that will then help the customers to actually sign up for this particular service. Yeah. What fast and affordable fiber offers do you guys have in the works for your consumers to get the most out of that fiber line once they've got it? One of the things that we pride ourselves as a brand is that we will not leave any man behind. So meaning that even some of the products and services that we're going to put on the table, they're really going to fit your pocket. So a couple of products that we have a product called Easy Connect, which starts at a minimum of about 299, and that offers about 10 megabits per second. We also have prepaid fiber, which is really ideal for you if you really want to have control of your spend, where you recharge the data, whether it's within 7 days, 14 days, or 13 days. And then we also have an uncapped services that sits at about 25 megabits per second, up to about 500 megabits per second. What also excites us is the fact that anyone that takes any of those products, we ensure that we do the installation for free of charge. Nice. And for the customers that are taking the uncapped services, for example, we make sure that we give you a free Wi-Fi and free installation so that you can really enjoy those services from us. Yeah. And get back to work, baby, because it's the business end now. I think this is very much, for me, a part of South Africa's recovery from the last 2 years. So thank you so much for opening my eyes, for taking this quantum leap forward and bringing your market along with you. A massive step forward. Mokgadi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It really is a pleasure, as always. Have an amazing day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, there you have it. A fiber line could be coming your way at no additional cost. Now, to check whether you qualify for this upgrade or to view some amazing fiber deals once you've got that line, you can visit telkom.co.za, or you can follow Telkom on Twitter or on Facebook. Alternatively, you can just visit any Telkom outlet nationwide. There is someone ready to talk to you right now.
Telkom gives you more value and more monati. We've dropped the prices of our data and voice bundles. Get a 500 meg bundle now for just 10 Rand. Dial star 180 hash to buy Get More Monati bundles and enter them Bekeli Beki. Live your Monati.
Oh man, such a feel-good show this morning, and we love to have it. Back for another awe-inspiring performance, Nadine McKenzie, and this time around, the rest of the Unmute Dance Company. I didn't get your name. Yasin. It's Yasin. He is here with us in studio, of course. Tasneem is here as well, back on stage to perform for us. They are part of the Artscape Theatre. They are bringing productions focused on human rights, and they are with the Unmute Dance Company. Here they are with a performance that's certainly going to warm your heart on this beautiful Human Rights Day. Guys, do what you're good at. Oh, well, yes, that was absolutely stunning. And the guys have, of course, left to go take and catch a breath after that fantastic performance. Artscape.co.za is where you can catch all of the information on how you can be part of supporting their story and see them unfold stories in this beautiful way. We'll see you after this.
Seventh Heaven. This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. And when it comes to all things Artscape Opera House, Giselle is a much-loved ballet production featuring internationally acclaimed ballet dancers, and it has started its run and will end on the 9th of April. It is a story of love, innocence, and betrayal, and here to tell us more is one of the beautiful dancers, Liani Tennyson. Good to have you here.
So nice to be here, Zoe.
Well, it's great to have you here. I think, you know, I've always wanted to be a ballet dancer. I think I've dreamed about it, but it never really got anywhere, because when I had the option to choose ballet as a child, I never went that direction. But for you, how did your journey into, you know, falling in love with the art of ballet start?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was not a young dancer. I was into my sport from an Afrikaans family, and my friends did ballet, and then the bug bit me when I was in grade 5, and slowly the journey started. And when I was about 16, I definitely realized that this was a passion and a love, and there's so much beauty in it that I just had to explore. Yeah, and then from there on, it was serious intent to join the professional world.
And now you're in that professional world, starring in the production Giselle. For those of us who's not too familiar with the story of Giselle, what is it about?
It's a story about a young peasant girl who is very innocent and naive, and a duke who dresses up as a peasant man because he's seen this beautiful girl and he wants to woo her. And the two of them end up falling in love. I think his intent wasn't necessarily that he would fall in love. He was maybe coming to play a bit of a game. But yeah, he ends up falling in love with her, but he's actually betrothed to someone else.
Ooh.
And Giselle has a heart condition. She loves dancing, but has a weak heart. And as they fall in love, the betrothed comes to visit the town where they are, but Albrecht's hiding at this point. So Giselle meets the betrothed, and then at the end of the first act, it all comes out, and Giselle dies of a broken heart because she's been betrayed. And then the second act is gorgeous, it's beautiful. It plays off in a forest, and it's these dead brides who's been jilted at the altar. And they essentially, if a man enters this forest, they send him to his doom because they've been, you know, they're on a revenge mission.
That is so dramatic.
Oh, yeah, I know. And yeah, she ends up being in this forest. Albrecht comes to visit the forest, and her love and forgiveness of his betrayal ends up saving his life.
Oh, wow. And that's all portrayed through, you know, I think I need to go and see it because it's running until the 9th of April.
You definitely need to come.
I do. Liani, what does it mean for you to be part of this production?
Oh, it's so special. I think Giselle has always been a dream role of mine. It's one of the classics. It's one that most people would love to do. And I think it's challenging, but the artistry and the story and the emotions behind it that you have to portray forces you to really dig into like life experiences and what you can bring to the table. But besides that, then working with Mena Gilgood her claims are endless. And when she teaches, she has this way of moving that you can see there's years and years of experience. So that in and of itself was wonderful. And then to work with Brandon Lawrence from Birmingham Royal Ballet was beyond what I could have imagined. He's a lovely partner, a lovely human. We clicked as a partnership so easily, and I've learned so much from him in the short time that we've worked together, which is wonderful because as South Africans, we don't always get the opportunity to really interact with international dancers. So to have that moment of working on a partnership and coming together is just, it's been wonderful.
Oh, it is wonderful. Well, do not miss out. We do have those details on your screens right now. Tickets are still available. You can see great international artists. You can see Liani. She's going to be on the stage. It is the production of Giselle at the Artscape, and it's running until the 9th of April. You do not want to miss out, so get your tickets and let's support this fantastic production.
Oh, fantastic stuff. That's certainly one to go and check out at the theatre.
Romantic. I mean, fans are back. It's beautiful, man. Go and experience one of the best ballets you'll ever experience.
And something else you expect some love and romance from is your lounge suite. And if you aren't getting the support that you need, the romance that you need, the feels that you need from your lounge suite, then it's time to break up. Break up with it because you deserve better. You deserve goma goma.
Yeah. Yep, life's too short, man. Life is too short. You need the right kind of support behind you. You want to settle your rump on something that is designed for comfort and style. And I love the fact that when we talk about style, there is so much to choose from that will suit everybody's budgets. So Goma Goma's designer range, it's fresh, it's exciting, it draws inspiration from local designers, which I love, and some contemporary trends. It's going to be a statement.
I was checking out the range, it's absolutely incredible, and it's not just this green one that we keep looking at. It was like the green couch, I love the green couch, but there's so much more. We've got suites like the Trafalgar corner, which is a modern corner suite, perfect for any lounge. I love the colors, I know it does come in many options, but I mean, it's an L seat for sure. You can do so much with it. It's kind of got that family orientation as well. You can also
that's my vibe. No, that's my vibe.
I like those I call them L couches, those lounge suites. They're really, really cool because, I mean, as somebody who likes to take naps, those are the ideal. You can
I've always imagined you just have another bed in your lounge.
I do have a couch and a bed in the middle instead of a coffee table. I mean, come on. But it's time to break up with that setup.
Maybe you need a classic, like the couch, which is a classic. Simple, refreshing design. And this, I think, will fit in any space.
Yeah, I love the blend of the natural elements like wood as well. It goes to the decor. Just like the one we've got, it really, really works, and it just gives that authenticity. You know, nature boy at heart.
Yeah.
Always
want to see nature.
No, but counterbalancing your design with that, the introduction of fresh kind of natural woods, those sorts of textures. Perfect.
What do you guys think of the Naledi wingback? Because that, for me, caught my eye. Because, I mean, for an occasional chair, the Naledi wingback, it's a beautiful occasional chair that'll add class, you know, it adds style. And, of course, you've got that touch of trendiness that comes through into your room.
In that. I can just picture you
and then I'm like this. Yes!
And you've got
me so well.
those like body scarf things.
You know, you're just like,
absolutely love it. The bottom line is there is so much to choose from and so many points of interest, areas that you can inspire yourself with to look at your living space slightly differently. And I think the best place to start will be following Goma Goma on their Instagram page, which is @GomaGoma_SA, and then you can find them Facebook, which is just Goma Goma, or you can check out their website, goma.co.za, and you can find out more about their various top quality lounge suites on offer. They've got literally something for everybody, and it's an investment piece.
You notice he's doing it right now. He can't help himself.
No,
He can't help himself.
I thought he had fallen asleep.
But that is exactly it. That is exactly it. Okay.
But there is something about, I say it every time, it's the arrogant tilt.
Yes.
This chair gives you.
And then he just like sort of you zone into it. I love it. So go and check them out, goma.co.za, for a whole lot of inspiration. And find yours. Break up with your current one. It's time. That relationship, gone, babe. Gone.
Upstyle your home with Expresso, as 3 lucky viewers like you stand a chance to win game vouchers to the value of 25,000 Rand for a room improvement of your very own.
To enter, all you have to do is post a photo of the space you want to revamp on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter competition post, and remember to use the hashtag #GotGame in your entry.
The competition is closing on the 22nd of March 2022, and all the terms and conditions apply. Good luck.
Wake up in luxury with Expresso and your chance to win one of 5 Slumberland Green Wave Queen Size Base and Mattress sets, each to the value of 14,000 Rand. To enter, reply to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook, Twitter or Instagram page, answer the question and include hashtag Sleep with Slumberland in your answer. Competition runs from Friday the 18th to Thursday the 24th of March 2022. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. Catch you later.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Being a Monday, it means we are now turning to all things relationships. And since today is Human Rights Day, we thought it would be fitting to discuss the right we all have to safety and security, especially in the domestic setting, something that we are falling far short of, unfortunately, in this country. So did you know that most violent incidents against women are inflicted by their partners or someone they know, the vast majority? One of the biggest threats to our safety and security in the home is a toxic or abusive partner. Now, Taryn Lee Dry is someone with experience in this exact scenario, and her courageous story of leaving this abusive relationship is one, thankfully, she is willing to share with us today. So, Taryn, a very good morning to you. Happy Human Rights Day. Thank you so much for being brave enough to step out and step up and talk with us this morning. We love you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited.
Well, it takes complete bravery. And you know what, Taryn, your story, I think, is one, even if it's just one woman that hears your story and realizes, oh, these are the red flags. Because if you don't mind unpacking a little bit about your relationship and where it started, you know, devolving for you, where it all began. Because I think in the beginning, it's all sunshine and roses. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, so my relationship started, I met my partner overseas and we started dating, and about a year into it, I felt pregnant really early. We did have a separation in our relationship for 2 years due to the fact that we were both living in different countries. However, the abuse, it got to a point whereby I realized that I had to get out, and it was at that moment when I just emotionally couldn't take it, because I realized both my partner and I weren't being satisfied. And this was due to boundaries and relationship goals that wasn't set in place. We kind of just ran off with the fantasy and, you know, the early first year lovebirds notion with it. So yeah, so our relationship started getting abusive about when my son was about 2 years old, when my son was born. And my partner was just not very satisfied in the relationship. And me being a people's pleaser, I try to please as much as I can, and I try to make things work as much as I can. Yeah. So, yeah.
You know, so often, I almost think 99% of the time that we are focusing on the subject matter, we are unfortunately speaking to women who are on the wrong side of the choice that you were able to make within your life. And it's mystifying how much abuse a woman or someone in an abusive relationship can actually endure before they reach breaking points. Now, you talk about that moment. What was that moment for you? Was it an incident? Was it reaching critical mass? How did you get to the point that you actually took on board that you needed to get out of the situation? What was that light bulb moment?
Okay, so that light bulb moment is that you go through so much, you take so much of cheating, so much of emotional abuse, so much of trauma and verbal abuse. It just got to the point where it was so toxic, where my partner was attacking my personal things, the things that I own, my property, and that was for me the final straw. When my property and everything else got destroyed,
that was for me a turning point, because eventually they do turn to other things that frustrate you, and the quickest way to frustrate you is to attack the things that is very personal to you. So apart from it being just my emotional trauma and the abuse and whatever, when it got to my personal things, that is when was the breaking point for me.
Okay. Taryn, I think there's a lot of women that, they're hearing your story and they're in this unfortunate position, and they sometimes don't know how to take that next step because there's perhaps a emotional, financial dependence on their partner.
Yeah.
Were you able to make use of any support systems or organizations to assist you during this transition? Because that's never an easy thing for especially a mom with a little one.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, it was very difficult because all my family was in Cape Town, so I never really had people to go through this with me. But it was my very few close friends who knew about it, and it was the church that I belonged to. The church was one of the biggest reasons why I actually walked away. So that organization, that support system, that encouragement, that direction, and that leadership that I was under, that was helping me to transition and to just completely walk away. Because you walk away more than once, but
Sure.
This was a final.
Yeah, I suppose it's about breaking that cycle, and it really does become a cycle. Thank you so much for spending the time with us this morning. We certainly commend you on sharing your journey with us and the rest of Mzansi. I'm hoping that this is going to reach, as Zoe pointed out, just one person who is at risk. But if you are feeling any red warning signs emerging through this conversation for yourself, please go and reach out to gbv.org.za, or you can phone their helpline 0800 428 428. We're going to be joined by Taryn Lee Drai a little bit later in the show, as well as counselling psychologist Sanam Naran, who will be offering some guidance on the topic of toxic relationships. Don't go anywhere.
Definitely an important conversation. You do not want to go anywhere, and especially after what's about to go down right now. So the performances are just eclectic. Now, we are honored to be welcoming the dancers that are part of the classic ballet production. We've got the name of the show, obviously we've mentioned it before, it's called Giselle, and Michaela Isaacs and Carl Baird are here to perform for us an excerpt of the Peasant Pas de Deux. Take it away. Wow. I have to say, The athleticism in this is, for me, something that stands out. And I was chatting to Carl earlier about the amount of work and time that goes into this performance. Absolutely exceptional stuff. And of course, there's so much more of this happening right now. The Artscape until the 9th of April, and there is so much more to come from the Giselle dancers. We've got one more round, and you do not want to miss it. We'll see you in just a bit.
Wake up in luxury with Expresso and your chance to win one of 5 Slumberland Green Wave Queen Size Base and Mattress sets, each to the value of 14,000 Rand. To enter, reply to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook, Twitter or Instagram page, answer the question and include hashtag Sleep with Slumberland in your answer. Competition runs from Friday the 18th to Thursday the 24th of March 2022. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. Catch you later.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is Human Rights Day, and today we are shedding the spotlight on a very important topic. And this is for our relationship topic, and that is leaving a toxic or even abusive relationship. Now, earlier, our guest, Taryn Lee Draai, shared with us her harrowing experience with an abusive partner and her decision to leave. But making the decision is only the first step. Taryn now stands by to tell us more about her road to healing. And we're also joined once again, my apologies, by counseling psychologist and founder of Conscious Psychology, Sanam Naran, who will be providing us some guidance from a psychologist's perspective.
Yep, so thank you so much to both of you ladies for sticking around. Please, if you've got any comments or questions that you'd like to raise, please do so on our Facebook page. Sanam, I'm going to start with you. Very good morning to you. Happy Human Rights Day. We've been on a bit of a journey as it stands already with Taryn to get an understanding of what drove her to escape an abusive relationship, and it's a very complex thing, but it comes to bear on the very biggest of the world stages right now. If I can use an example, we've been witnessing a very high-level celebs like Kim Kardashian, for instance, being harassed by her ex-husband Kanye West, evident of the toxicity in their relationship. And I think what blows my mind is this is a gent that's being celebrated at the Grammys this year as being probably the most successful musician in the world. No one is exempt. In your view, what is the root cause of this kind of behavior? Where does the toxic element first start?
So I think, you know, this is such an interesting question because there's two ways in which this can sort of show up in a relationship. But what's the most important thing to understand is that often our relationships and our romantic relationships bring up all our childhood traumas, bring up all our unmet needs, and we're sort of, you know, the best and the worst people in our romantic relationships. But I would definitely say that, you know, these unhealthy relational patterns often stem from our childhood. You know, this could be, and I'm not talking about, you know, physical hectic abuse, but I'm talking about the way our parents related with us, the way they related with each other, the way they spoke to us, the way they parented us, and the way they managed and held our emotions. And so often our romantic relational patterns stem from our childhood and our unmet needs, as well as cultural influences. So in certain cultures, what do they say about men and women and how women should be in a relationship and how men should be? And so this brings about, you know, toxic masculinity and all of that.
Now, Taryn, I have a question for you. I mean, you stepping away from your abusive relationship, having gone through that whole ordeal, I know that the healing process is equally as big. What have you been doing, you know, to grow and flourish and deal with the trauma that's now in your past?
Okay, so I have been focusing a lot on myself, my mental health. I do a lot of activities like walking, earthing has become very important to me. I must do it. And then I also have been consulting a life alignment technician. And I go to her every couple of months for a release. And we deal with my energy points and my mental health here.
Do you feel like you are healing? How do you feel about your own journey back from where you've been?
I definitely do feel like I am healing. I feel like a lot of growth has been taking place. I have not only grown but matured as well, and I'm so thankful for this experience because I'm able to be a better mother to my son. I'm now conscious of everything that I do and everything that I say, the way I respond. So I really do take account of my thoughts and my actions and the way I respond to things. And this is what meditating and earthing and the life alignment has all helped me to put in place to put a better Taryn forward for my future relationships. Yeah.
Being intentional about it. I love that. Yeah.
And not only just for yourself, but for your son as well. Now, Sanam, I wanted to know from you, why is it that, you know, when it comes to toxic and abusive partners, they often choose their partners, someone who knows and loves them, as their target for their behavior?
So I think it's a very unconscious process. So they don't necessarily, you know, consciously say, I'm going to choose this person and I'm going to cause chaos. It's a very unconscious process. So maybe I can just give an example. You know, if that person comes from a childhood where they had unavailable parents and you know, the parents were emotionally unavailable and neglectful, they will then go into an adult relationship and choose a partner that is just as emotionally unavailable. And this is a very unconscious process. And what that will do is it will cause chaos in the relationship, but it's familiar, and that's why we choose those relationships. So we do have a choice unconsciously, and then that, for example, will cause quite of an unhealthy relational pattern. So it's really important in those cases to seek a psychologist and get help to resolve those unmet needs in childhood.
Yeah, man, we're all carrying the baggage.
We do.
Got to unpack the baggage. Taryn, I'm going to close out with you because, I mean, we've been inspired just by chatting to you for a few moments here. So congratulations on what you've achieved already. But I would imagine, and we said this at the beginning of this discussion, that it is vitally important that we reach just one person who is in the same position that you were a few years ago. What would you like to say to that one woman, that one man that is locked in a toxic situation right now?
Okay, one thing that I have always told myself is that you deserve better, and you know what you deserve, and you know that no feeling is permanent. So it is your choice. You have a choice to get out and to walk away. You deserve better. Keep telling yourself you deserve better. Yeah.
You deserve better, and your little man certainly deserves better. Give him the biggest hug on our behalf. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us for a very difficult conversation, but something that we so vitally need to hear. Thank you, ladies.
There we go, Karen Lee Dry sharing her story. And once again, if you are finding yourself in an abusive situation, don't hesitate. Reach out to gbv.org.za or call their helpline on 0800 428 428.
You know what the beautiful thing is that there is always a way out. You really have to just tap into yourself, tap into your inner total awareness and reach out, because there is always help out.
Yeah, there is indeed. And now we get that chance to also reach out to you, Mzansi, and chat to you about our social media question this morning. We were chatting about Human Rights Day. It is today, yes, in case you are wondering why everybody's not at work, except for us, but we're here to serve you. So the question we asked you is, what do you think should be a human right? Now, we have a great human rights bill in South Africa.
Yes,
we've got things like education, food, shelter. But I think there are some, but there are some things that I think with the modern day times we could definitely add to that. I'm interested to see what Mzansi might have to say. And we've got some incredible comments coming through. This one from Teresa Mike is saying, good morning, beautiful fam. Electricity should be a human right. Okay, the thing that we are most without these days. I like that.
Yeah, so, certainly. John Cameron says Human Rights Day should involve helping the underprivileged to a better life. The first thing to do is to make sure that children are fed a healthy diet, which is the start to a creative mind.
That's the right to
nutrition.
Good food,
The right to good nutrition. So, because I mean, eating food is a right, but maybe nutrition, that it be nutritional.
Absolutely.
Mesha Abrams.
Yeah, good morning, Expresso fam, and happy Human Rights Day to you all. So she's just sending in some love, and we appreciate all the love that we get in the show. Nolene Osborne says the right to only start work after 9. Oh, this is to accommodate the Expresso show. Hey, that is a fantastic idea,
Good
actually,
reason
right?
for it. Let's see what the rest of it says, the comment says.
I hate missing it. On a serious note, though, the human rights should be feel safe. As much as it is in our constitution, our politicians have let its citizens down. Putting this into practice, our country is extremely unsafe and compared to the rest of the world. So the right to feel safe and secure, that should definitely be one. That rings a bell when it comes to our women, especially in this country.
Yes.
So that's something that is definitely an issue that we need to tackle. Gents, ladies, regardless, we need to get on the top of this. I think it's an essential right for all of our people. Thank you, Mzansi, for coming through with those comments. Absolutely love it. The show will continue, and so do the performances. Check this one out.
Spend your money wisely. Ungayi ngabantu. Do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money choices seriously? Join Nedbank today.
Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, indeed, Expresso on S3. I hope you're having a fantastic Human Rights Day so far. Now, the production started on the 18th of March and it will run until the 9th of April. If you're wondering which production I'm talking about, it is Giselle. It is an amazing ballet production which will be taking place at the Artscape, featuring some of our best local talent and international guests. And here for another performance is Shante Daniels and Gabriel Ravenscroft with a beautiful performance.
This month, say it with flavor, taste, and aroma, so they'll know it was made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.